Now we are. Good evening.
I am seeing the live button on now.
Yes, that's right. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. I am Emily, and oh, you made it. Ashima's made it.
Right on time, too.
Hello, little Ashima.
Hello.
Ashima.
All right. Well, welcome, everybody. This is the first time we are having our own Q&A. I've never heard of it, but my driver told me it's a
Heard of a live stream before.
Yes. It's a question and answer stream, according to what he told me. But I'm not alone. It seems like we have other friends who are joining us. Will you all introduce yourselves?
My name.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
All right. Well, my name is Caitlyn. I believe most of you know me.
My name is
I
Ashima.
work on the mainland. And there you go.
We're all talking at once. Oh dear.
Who else wants to introduce themselves?
Oh, I will.
I think we should let the more famous ones go first, dear brother.
Oh, yes, so we shall. I think you all know me. My name is Gordon.
I wasn't talking about you, dear brother.
Oh yes. The Flying Scotsman always has to have the attention.
Hello, everyone. This is your friend, Flying Scotsman. Now, I'm afraid that I do not have my proper picture, I believe. I think that's the right
actually,
word.
It's shown on the screen.
Oh, it is? I'm afraid I'm not looking at it. I'll have to... I'm sorry,
Right.
What? What did you say, brother?
You said you should go first in introducing us.
What's wrong with that, might I ask?
Well, seems that people see me more on the television than they see you.
Oh, is that so? Well, in case you haven't realized, in the past couple of years, I have been making more headlines because I came back from my overhaul.
Oh yes.
Hence why I now came back to the show. That's why I've been gone for so long, isn't it?
Well, yes, of course, but
He does have a point.
What?
And hello there, Thomas Fan 16. Hello there.
Yes, I'm looking at the chat, and it seems like we've got, oh, goodness, so many people. 35.
Yes, I'm reading about 35. No, wait, it's staying in the 30s, marginal 30s. How's that?
Works for me.
B.
Well,
We have so many questions already.
yeah.
Marginal 30. How's that?
Well, I'll be.
Works for me.
B.
Oh, someone.
A lot of friends here.
Oh my. Is somebody playing the audio from the live stream? Because it's sounding a little weird hearing myself talk. To say something like just a few seconds ago.
It seems to be echoing.
I
Sorry
think
about
it's
that.
recording band. Yes, it is.
Sorry about that.
Oh, Scotsman, it looks like you have a few fans.
Oh, do I? Well, let's see here. Who do we have here? 'Cause I just saw like a Thomas Fan. Let me read here. Let's see who's come to see me. And
I have fans.
good heavens,
too,
who is this Joel that they keep talking about?
Scotsman, someone asked you, would you want to visit America again in the future?
Oh, I most certainly would. I would love to see my adoring fans, because to my understanding, I am pretty much renowned worldwide. And if my memory serves me, I once visited the Americas, but if I can make one little alteration, please do away with those cow catchers and that bell and that headlight too. They make me look hideous.
I'm sure they
As
didn't.
the Oritz fellow says that he's raced me before.
Who?
Do you recall this race, Gordon? Can you confirm that you have raced this engine before?
I think so. It was It was past us. It was to a signal box just outside of Vicarstown
Oh, there you go.
by a little tank engine named Thomas.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Ah,
Don't remind me.
What's the matter, dear brother? Can't handle a little competition?
Competition.
oh, you boys.
Racing. Even though Thomas said I did.
Seems like you have a question, Caitlyn.
Oh?
It says, what do you think of Sodor the first time you came with Connor?
I loved it. I love Sodor. I wish I could just live on the island, honestly. It's such a quaint place, and I love all the friends that I've made here, and I love that at night there's hardly any engines around, so I can go really fast. And it sounds like my voice is a little staticky. Is it still staticky for you all?
Yes.
I was going to say, do you sound like you're talking through, one of those, voice changer
Auto-tune?
devices that my driver sometimes uses? He gets them for his little boy back at home, and I say they make things sound really hilarious. I'm sorry, Gordon.
You're not talking about auto-tune, are you?
No, what's an auto tune?
Apparently,
Oh dear.
Do I sound
Caitlyn,
all
does
right
this
use.
Do I sound
Caitlyn,
Tell you that.
do I sound all right now?
Yes,
Yes,
now you do.
Okay, I think I was on another microphone.
Oh,
I've got a comment. I've got a question from this Serena Leo Harper character.
Mhm.
Why am I mean to Edward? Well,
Why are you mean to Edward?
Yes, dear brother. Why are you?
sure, I've said things like he should give up and be preserved, or like he's a useless old steam pot. But I didn't mean those things. It was just my foolish pride and jealousy. That's all.
He owns
I wonder
up
how
to it.
long that's been going for you.
oh.
Not very well, I can tell you that much. Oh, look, brother. We've got a question that we should both answer.
Oh, let me see here.
Scotland.
Who is it?
Yes.
What
I-
what are your thoughts on Scotland, brothers?
Thoughts on Scotland? Well,
Thoughts?
it's been a while since I've been to Scotland, since I do the majority of my runs on the United Kingdom's railways. But I have to say, that's why I got my name. I would say I thoroughly enjoy Scotland. Like I said, hence that's why my name came from, because I, as some of you might recall, I used to pull trains to Scotland, primarily to Edinburgh.
I too have not been to Scotland in years. Not since I was transferred to Sodor.
Did you enjoy it?
Why, from what I recall, yes, I enjoyed it quite a lot.
So the brothers are well traveled then.
Oh, well, some more than others.
Emily, it looks like you have a question earlier in the chat.
Oh, which question? So many questions are on the stream. I can't catch up.
There is a question that says, was there any event that involved dressing an engine up for Christmas time?
Oh, well, I can recall one story. That was the time where I was dressed up for the winter festival. But, well, I decided to give that job to somebody else. But it was quite nice to wear those lovely lights. It made me feel a little magical.
You did look very nice.
Well, thank you. No,
But might I say you
I would like to
did
see a
look
picture of that, if there is any.
Yeah,
I wonder if you
might give us some inspiration. Next party that we're having in Sodor. Oh, it looks like I've got a question from Rainbow Dash.
Oh,
When did you come up with the catchphrase, "Oh, the indignity"?
Well, let's see.
Around the time when our old Tidmouth sheds got knocked down.
oh.
I beg your pardon.
That's where I
Oh,
said, Oh, the indignity.
Oh no!
Think about it.
But wait a minute, Titmuth Sheds was knocked down?
Yes,
Oh my!
diesels.
By diesels, oh my.
Timber and other materials that would be useful for building sheds. Guess what they brought? Banana. Bananas of all things.
Oh my!
Bananas? Oh my goodness, what the cheek of them!
Well, to be fair, it wasn't
Oh
really.
my!
It was,
By the way, I just happened to see a question here from that one red engine. I wonder how many red engines there are. Anyway, he says here, no, I hope I'm getting this right. That one red engine says, Scotsman, what do you think of your new Thomas Wood model? Thomas Wood model? Oh, what wood model are you talking about? Because as far as I'm aware, I've always been made of metal.
I'm sure there are many toy
As
models
we
made
all
of
have.
you, Flying Scotsman.
Oh,
As you are
the toys! The toys!
What do you think of the merchandise
Yeah.
made for you?
Well, I have heard word about there being the new Thomas Wood line, and I heard I was going to come on, but I was going to be made for that line, but I have yet to see it myself. I'll have to ask my driver to look it up on the what is that one page? The thing that the people go looking for stuff on their computers. Is it called the inter? Yes, that word.
Internet.
Yes. Internet. Okay. Yes. I'll have to ask my driver sometime to show me that.
Mind me,
Oh.
my driver
All right.
to me that as well.
I seem to have a few questions now.
Yes.
Okay.
Ashima.
Let's see. Back on my railway, is there anyone jealous of me? Unfortunately, yes.
Oh,
My sister.
oh,
She is quite envious of my paintwork.
You have a
And-
sister?
I think
Yes.
it's beautiful. Why would she be jealous? That's just mean.
She bears-
Who's your sister? Who's your sister?
I wouldn't
her
blame.
name is Viviana.
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 Oh, Viviana. Okay.
Yes. She felt that my paintwork gave me an advantage to go to the Great Railway Show. She felt being nominated was rightfully her place. So
But you went to the Great Railway Show because you're good at shunting cars.
I know, and that's why I cannot understand why I can't understand it. I've always tried to be kind to her and have a good relationship with her, but
Well, she probably loves you very much and looks up to you, much the same way Gordon looks up to the Flying Scotsman, I'm sure. And it often comes across as jealousy.
I'm sure, yes, that must be it.
Yes. Take it from me, Ashima. That is most definitely it. Because
How about Donald and Douglas or Bill and Ben?
Yes, of course.
yes. By the way, how are those cheeky blighters?
Oh, you don't remind me.
Don't remind me.
I'd love to have a bout with Donald and Douglas again.
Well,
Oh, you can take my
maybe
job
by
and
Christmas,
Scotsman.
put Bill
As I
and Ben
have
in
to
their
with
place.
those two, and
They're going to be shunting guys after the clay pit closed for the winter.
I believe I just come across a question here, and Gordon, this is actually directed at you and me.
Do we miss our brothers?
Yes.
Sister?
Do you miss your brothers and sisters from Solman?
oh,
I hope I said that right.
Oh.
Very much, actually.
Yes,
Okay.
I remember hearing about that. In fact,
It was
it was because of that reason in particular, when there was very little of us, that I was invited to Sodor for the first time.
and that should
Remember that, brother? Yes, because I was told by Sir Topham Hatt, your fact controller, of course, that that you are in a right state about the world abolishing steam engines, and I must say I saw many a friend go. And it was really a sad time, and it made me feel really sad as well. And knowing that at that time I thought I was the last. But then I was reminded that Gordon was on Sodor, and then Sir Topham had invited me to cheer him up. And it cheered me up as well. And it was wonderful seeing my brother again.
And
That's good.
Being my brother.
That's very good.
What was that, Gordon? What did...
Are you still there?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I am. I was just saying that his driver must have read the books.
Oh, yes! The books by the Reverend W. Audrey! Yes! I almost forgot about those.
The driver owns a collection of those.
Oh, really?
Yes, he would read them to me sometimes. Sadly, though, I'm not in them, but it's all right. I mean, I do love the stories that feature Gordon and Thomas and everyone. It's just amazing.
Well, you wouldn't be the only one.
I saw a few questions earlier. Let me see now. This one's directed to all of us. Now,
No.
for everyone. It says, do you think you could get Donald and Douglas to stop bickering? They weren't always like this, you know. I can definitely answer that after that incident last winter.
Oh, yes, I remember hearing about that. Your incident on Gordon's Hill and a giant snowball?
I have no idea how that happened, that giant snowball, but I could not stand it. Something just had to be done. Usually I don't really raise my voice at this much, but I just couldn't take it. It was like I was, pardon me. It's like I was train sitting there.
Middle of the junction, right on the main line where the express was supposed to go.
Oh my.
Yes, definitely. We should definitely talk to Donald and Douglas and talk to them, find out what their problems are. It's always the right thing to do, to sit down and talk to someone.
I see. Yes.
Oh, that looks like Rainbow Dash has asked me another question.
No.
I hate goods trains. Simple. I wasn't built for goods trains. I was built for the express.
That's what I first thought too, dear brother, but you got to realize we are Pacifics. We were built for not just speed and glamour, but for our strength as well.
Yes, so true, Scotsman.
And speaking of speed, there is a question here posed by Freddie Fazbear, 1987. And he says, if Gordon and Scotsman had a race, who would win? I think we know what the answer to that would be, wouldn't it?
I would win if I still had my streamlined casing.
No, I'm not referring to myself, dear brother. I'm referring to Etienne.
Oh.
Yes, Etienne was the real winner there. And in fact, he's not only from France, but he's a diesel electric. He is built to be faster than us, unfortunately. But I still give congratulations to him.
I see another question for all of us.
Okay.
What are our favorite spots on Sodor?
Well, I mean, me and Gordon know a few, but Ashima, do you think you've been on the island for a short time, but do you have a favorite?
Well, I would have to say Thomas's branch line. For the short time that I was pulling his coaches. What were their names? Annie Clarabelle?
Yes, I believe I heard him say that at one point. That they were Annie and Clarabelle.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. When I was pulling Annie and Clarabelle on his branch line, for the first time, I was really able to take in the sights of Sodor. And while it is nothing like India, I must say, it is a quaint little line. I quite enjoyed my time there.
Well, for me, I'm sorry. Was somebody speaking first?
I really enjoyed it.
I wondered if Caitlyn is still online.
Yes, I'm still here. I just didn't want to talk over anyone.
Okay.
So, Caitlyn, do you have any particular favorite spot on Sodor?
My favorite spot on Sodor is Tidmouth Sheds because that's where all my friends are. And I love to go there sometimes when I get a chance, not normally, but I like to go there and just say hi to everyone.
Well, for myself, I really don't know what to say because the only farthest I've ever gone in recent years has been Vicarstown. It's been so long. I really haven't seen much of Sodor for a really long time. I really would like to. I really would like to have another tour about Sodor, just to help me remind me of what's there, and maybe then I can find a favorite spot. But for now, I would have to say I like Vicarstown Station because that place is enormous. It has been so long since I've seen a station that big, and so high up as well. Because to my understanding, when I come in, I'm going along a bridge, and when I look down, I can see roads and what appears to be a tramway line.
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
I could always arrange for the Fat Controller. I could always talk to the Fat Controller and arrange to have you visit more of Sodor sometimes.
Oh, thank you, Gordon. Thank you very much. I would love that. It would be lovely.
And speaking of favorite places of mine, I would say anything
Gordon's Hill
that has a big station. Or Vicarstown, as you mentioned, or Croven's Gate. That's a really interesting place because of the mostly because of its castle-like design and where it meets the Skarloey Railway. Those are all.
Oh yes, I've heard about that place, Croven's Gate. But that's where you went and got your new look. Am I right? For the railway show?
It's also where I like to converse with Sir Handel every now and then.
Sir Handel?
Yes. That little blue engine that says he pulls a little express of his own.
Little like Thomas, right? Or
No, smaller than Thomas.
Smaller?
Yes. I think you've seen even smaller engines than that. Maybe one of the size of those small engines that Docto tells me about.
You know, to be frank, I'm not entirely aware of small engines other than tank engines, really. Are you saying that there are
gate more often?
Are you saying, dear brother, that there are multiple gauges?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
There are 3 different gauges. There's the standard gauge.
3?
You probably know.
Actually, there's 4.
Oh,
4?
Yes.
I apologize. I don't think I've seen the 4th one.
Very few engines have.
What are these gauges? The first one you said, Emily, was a standard gauge, right?
Yes, and then there's the miniature gauge. And
A miniature gauge?
Or the Little Western.
Miniature gauge.
Yes.
How small of those is that in particular? Is that the one that Sir Handel runs on?
No,
Nope.
not at all. No. The miniature gauge, they are much smaller. They are like
What gauge is Sir Handel then, if he's not standard or mini?
He's the other narrow gauge line, the one that stops at Croven's Gate.
Oh, narrow gauge, like the Telephone Railway.
Yes, that one.
Oh yes, I know. I've met Teleflin and Dolgok a couple of times, and they've always told me that they had twins on Sodor. And all the other engines there as well. Is Sir Handel a twin of what is his name? Sir Hayden?
I believe he is. Andor tells me about it quite often.
Oh, yes! Oh, now I remember something. I remember something that Sir Hayden told me when Sir Handel was visiting, actually. And, he was visiting for a little while, but then he had an incident with a tree that ended up giving him a black eye, so to speak.
Oh my, black eye.
Yeah, and from what I heard, they had to strap like some sort of eye patch on his smoke box.
Oh,
I'd say he looked very much like a pirate, is what Sir Hayden told me.
Handel told me that too.
Oh my goodness! Oh my! I would love this. Oh, I would have loved to have seen that. That sounds so comical.
Oh, it quite is, my friend. Quite is.
See.
And now, you said there was a. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just looking to see if there were any other questions. But you continue on.
Oh, yes. Oh, I just wanted to ask. You said that there was another narrow gauge line on Sodor.
Gordon, you should tell him, because I don't think I'm aware of this fourth gauge.
Oh, this is something that what those electric engines have told me about.
You have electric engines on Sodor?
Yes, quite a few of them, actually. They have their own branch line that runs from Kildane on the main line all the way up to Peel Godred, somewhere in the north.
Oh,
Somewhere in the middle of their branch line is the start of a mountain railway. Where
a mountain railway?
Yes,
Come
a
on,
mountain railway.
mountains. Oh,
I'm sorry, Ashima. Did you say something?
that doesn't sound appealing.
You'd find this
like
quite
that?
interesting.
Pardon? You like mountains?
Oh yes, I work in the mountains all the time.
Oh,
I
Are
love
these engines anything like you, Ashima?
Oh, I would think so. I
Gordon,
believe they are
I-
supposed. I believe they are supposed to have 2 sets of wheels.
Yes, they do, but they run on a rack rail.
Yes, that is exactly what I do back in India on the
Oh
New
my
Delhi Mountain
goodness.
Railway.
And
Right.
how do you move your coaches? Do you pull them up or do you push them uphill?
Well, sometimes pushing them is a lot easier. I don't usually face forward, so to speak, when moving my coaches in the mountains. When I'm going forward, I will usually push forward, and when going backward, I will just pull them backward.
Oh
I
my.
don't really face forward, so to speak.
Well, the Collie-Fell engines face forward. Because they-
Sometimes,
because they-
Hold on,
sometimes
Gordon.
it-
Did you
Sometimes-
just say Coldy Fell?
Yes, that's the name of their railway.
Coldy Fell? My word, that name is so familiar. Where exactly have I heard that? Coldy Fell.
There's a book that the Reverend W. Audrey wrote called Mountain Engines.
Oh yes, now I remember that book. Oh my goodness, that my driver would read that one to me. That one is my favorite. I love that one. Oh my goodness, how can I have forgotten about that line?
Well, you wouldn't be the only one.
Oh my.
Cody,
what?
I think I have met him before.
You met Coldy?
I think we were built at the same machine works. The Swiss
Really?
Locomotive and Machine Works. Yes,
Oh my goodness, oh my word.
Why?
it really is a small world.
Small world indeed. Oh my Gordon, if I ever go there, if I ever go to Sodor, be sure to tell Sir Topham Hatt I would love to see the mountain railway, because I would not only want to meet Coldy, mind you, I would love to meet who was formerly known as Lord Harry, Patrick.
I'll see what I can do, Foo brother, but I must warn you,
No?
I'm a little too big to be running on branch lines. You'd have to be pushed. In order to run on that branch line, you'd have to chuff really, really slowly, or at the very least, get another engine to push you.
Oh.
Or
Oh,
pull
I
you.
see. Now, all right. Yes, I'll I'll definitely keep that in mind. I will
Better
indeed.
yet, you could even visit one of them at the Vicarstown Railway Museum.
Oh,
The Railway
there.
Museum? Who's there?
Well, there's Neil, the box tank engine. Fat controllers, his grandfather.
Oh my goodness, he is still there? Neil is still there?
He sure is.
Oh my word! One of the first engines of Sodor, if unless I'm mistaken.
Yes, he was. Scarlowy knows him.
Oh my.
It was-
Yes, I remember my driver telling me about that book as well. Very old engines, wasn't it?
Yes, very old engine.
Oh my. Oh, I'll definitely try to keep an eye out for the museum when I visit Vicarstown again.
Oh, by the way, it looks like Edward wants to join the stream.
Edward?
Edward the Blue Engine.
Oh my.
Oh, I think I know him.
Well,
Let
he
me
wants-
take a look if my driver could add him. Maybe while he's doing that, maybe look for other questions.
Yes,
Ah.
yes, of course. I will do the same. I will do that right now.
The more the merrier, of course.
Oh my.
That's sick. Do I remember the good times with James and Henry? Oh, James, Henry, and I have had many great adventures.
Such as going on strike.
Well, yes.
Oh,
I heard about that one.
Didn't go too well, unfortunately.
So I heard.
For that. Oh, and also that time we teased Percy about believing us about backing signals.
Oh my goodness.
Find that funny. Oh, and there was that time that they blocked us out of the sheds.
Oh yes.
what?
Oh yes, I remember hearing about that one. And now that I think about it, my driver was we've been rereading the Railway series recently, and we just finished that story. Duck takes charge, I think is what it was called. He certainly took charge, all right.
Yes, I think you'd be correct about that.
Oh my.
All right. I think my driver is getting Edward. He's contacting him right now.
Yes, I'm doing that.
Let's see here. I'm scrolling. My driver is scrolling through the what is called the live chat here, trying to see if there's any more questions here. And
Yes.
oh, seriously, who is this person that is Joel? And they keep associating this Joel name with me.
Maybe
Hello,
that
Edward.
would be someone that.
Oh dear.
Edward's here.
Edward?
Hello, Edward.
Hello, Edward.
Oh my goodness. Is that you, Scott?
Hello, Edward. How are you doing?
My dear friend, how are you doing?
Oh, just marvelous, very marvelous. And I'm, well, on some respects, I'm still trying to understand all this this technology, Twitter,
I
Google
believe you,
Hangouts, and everything.
Yes.
Caitlyn, does this remind you of anything?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
Well, we all seem to be struggling to adjust to all this technology. Does this remind you of anything?
Oh, yes. I seem to remember a card game that you and I attempted to play.
Yes.
And our drivers had some difficulty with the technicalities. But of course, these
Oh, a card game? What card game?
we played Cards Against Humanity. Have you heard of it?
Cards Against Humanity?
It's quite fun.
Caitlyn, if I may explain, Scotsman, I don't think it's really kid-friendly to play on the stream. It's really not kid-friendly, let me tell you that.
Oh, really? It's not family friendly.
We did
I
a
wouldn't
family
think
friendly
so.
version.
Well, I think
Oh,
We need some accommodations.
Yes.
They definitely
I
try.
see. From the way you're making it sound, Edward, I'm not entirely sure I want to converse in that sort of game, because I do try to keep up appearances, you know.
Of course.
Is that a new paint scheme, Flying Scotsman? You look very splendid today.
Oh, thank you very much.
I remember. Sorry, I remember a time when Gordon was that color.
Yes, I remember that too as well. If my memory serves me, I think he was a lighter color than I was. He was like I think it was what was it called? Was it like I think it was like lime green or something. I thought green looked really good on him, but to be honest, I don't think lime is very much his color nowadays.
Nope. I prefer my blue.
Yes.
Oh, it actually was apple green that I used to be.
Was it apple? Was it really apple?
Sorry
Yes,
about
well,
that. My driver pulled me away for an extra top up on coal.
Oh.
Speaking of which, I should probably top up on water.
Let's see.
I'll be right back.
All right. Don't take too long, Gordon.
Oh dear, you should see him at the coal hoppers. He took 3 hours to load up on just one tender coal.
Are you kidding me? 3
Emily,
hours.
Emily, I think you were there as well.
Well, no, not really.
Oh, yeah, wait. My memory's just foggy.
It's all right.
Oh my word.
I wonder if what you said, Edward, it takes hours for Gordon to fill just his tender. Pardon me, Scotsman, but I wonder how long it takes to fill your 2 tenders.
Now, how long it takes me? Let me see. Oh my. You know what? Oh my word. Oh, this is rather embarrassing. I never really took stock of that. I've never really.
Yes. Your best guess.
Well, let's see. Oh my. Oh dear. Oh dear me. You'll have to pardon me. You'll have to pardon me for a minute. I think I'm feeling just a little dry. I feel like I'm running a little dry. Just can you give me just a couple minutes to collect myself? Just a couple minutes.
Of course.
It won't be too long. I'll be right back. Just a minute.
Well, someone asked Ashima if she's been anywhere else besides Sodor and India.
Oh, well, let me think.
Would you like to go anywhere else?
Obviously, I've been to the mainland, so...
Right. So the mainland, Sodor, India. Is there anywhere you'd like to go?
Oh, anywhere I'd like to go. I've never really thought about it. Perhaps.
Oh, looks like you're
Perhaps
Connor,
Kenya?
Caitlyn.
Perhaps Africa?
Oh, now
Really?
there's a place.
I heard that place is very lovely.
Really?
Oh,
I heard it was
From
right.
what another engine told me, but I just heard it's just a nice place to visit.
Where in Africa specifically? Or just everywhere?
Probably everywhere. I don't really know anywhere specific.
The whole ball of wax. I see. I am like Thomas. I would love to travel the world personally. I would like to meet all the friends that I could make and all the railways I could travel on, high speeds.
Oh,
That would be delightful.
and for all of us. Do we miss our old railways?
What was that?
Do we miss our old railways?
Oh, ooh, yes.
Well,
Well,
what it was, I'd say I miss those days. But Sodor is it's just something else. Nothing like the LNER.
Did someone say something about LNER?
Oh dear, here we go again.
Welcome back, Scotsman.
I I just after having refreshing myself for a little bit here. I was talking to my driver, getting back to that question, Emily. I think it was you that posed it to me about how long it takes for me to fill my tenders.
Yes.
After talking with my driver this past couple of minutes, he told me it takes about about a half hour to fill me up with coal.
I was right. I guess 30 minutes.
But then with my water, it takes a little longer. I think he said it's like maybe between 30 minutes to 60, maybe 45 minutes. It's somewhere in that area. It really depends. This is, of course, him saying if I'm empty, if I'm well and truly empty, it will take a while for me to be filled up like that.
Ah.
So roughly around, somewhere between about almost upwards of 2 hours, I believe. Almost 2 hours. Almost.
How long time is it about?
Oh dear.
I beat Gordon's record of 3 hours.
Well,
You must have to
Scott.
get up very early in the morning.
Yes,
Scott.
indeed.
Well, Scott, Gordon's just mostly sleeping half the time anyway.
Oh my.
I'm a big important engine. Important engines need their beauty rest.
And do important
Someone else
engines
have to
get
keep
stuck
up
on their own
appearances.
hills, Gordon?
Everyone gets stuck on their hill every now and then.
And bursting safety valves.
Oh my goodness. I'm looking. My driver has just gone over to Twitter here, and somebody has just tweeted or posted rather. Somebody by the name of the Loco Loved, is saying, who is this? GeebMachine?
I have no idea who he is.
Lane
in all honesty.
Scotsman geeking out about the Culdee Railway, and it's amazing. Seriously, who do people say? Who is this Joel, and who is this GeebMachine? Oh my word!
I do not
Yes.
know.
Why are they associating with them with me? I'm the driver. Please find out who why these names are associated with me. Really, because this is almost a little infuriating.
Oh dear.
Indeed.
Very
You
interesting.
could never hurt anyone. By the way, brother, Rainbow Dash asked if you miss your old railway.
Rainbow Dash asked me what again? What was it?
If you missed your old railway.
My old railway. The LNER? Oh yes. I miss those old days of the Big Four and the when they were formed into the British Railways. That was a very prestigious age. But as the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end sooner or later. And hopefully that will never be of us, will it, brother? Hopefully that same can never be said of us.
Hopefully not.
Oh,
Well, I find that when one door closes, another opens.
Yes, very, very well viewed, or was it, what's the word? Very well put forth?
Well said, Ashima.
Yes, well said, yes. Thank you, Edward, thank you. You'll have to
No
forgive
problem.
me. You'll have to forgive me, everyone. I tend to stumble on my words a little.
It's all right. Perfectly
Thank
all
you,
right.
Ashima. Thank you.
yes. Thank you for that.
Let's see. Who else asked this question?
Hang on.
Hmm. Oh,
There is a question for me. Do I miss my home? Well, I am home, but thankfully to this technology, I am able to communicate with you from far distances. It is very useful, very reliable.
yes, it is.
Well, in the case of what my driver says, it's only as good as long as you pay your monthly dues to the cable bill. Whatever that means.
I never understood what cable was.
Either have
Really?
understood towing cables.
Now that I understand, but why are they saying cable and all this? I really, seriously, internet, cable, Twitter, Google, what is this? There's one other thing as well. There's what is it? I just recently heard Alexis, I think. Alexis,
my driver told me about. Sorry, Caitlyn.
Oh, I was just asking if it's a new friend. Is it someone new on the island?
I don't think I've
Alexis? No. This is something my driver. I hear people call out a lot, and there seems to be nobody there, but somebody answers. It's the most befuddling thing.
You don't suppose it's
magic.
Just like there was no Jeffrey on Sodor.
Oh.
Jeffrey? Who's Jeffrey?
Exactly.
I think there's a Jeffrey somewhere. We just haven't seen him yet. But I will find him.
I think it'll be quite a while, Caitlyn.
About how I feel about Rebecca and Nia joining us at Tinmouth Sheds.
I'm sorry, who?
Rebecca and Nia.
Rebecca and Nia.
I know Rebecca. I know Rebecca.
You
Wait a minute, is she going to Sodor?
Yes, she is.
Oh my word!
New friends.
Yes,
I'm so excited.
excited to meet her.
But why is somebody asking you your thought on Rebecca and this what's this engine's name?
Nia? I believe it was.
Nia.
Nia.
Nia. Why is someone asking you about them? Because I've never heard of Nia.
Well,
I don't know.
joining us.
We'll have to meet her when she gets here.
Nia's
I
going
hope
to-
I will.
Edward recently left Tinmouth Sheds to go sleep at Wellsworth again.
Yes.
You left Titbit Sheds, Edward?
There was a accident there.
I think, Emily, we can both blame a certain Dread Engine for doing so.
Oh my word!
I remember that well.
Yes,
Oh dear.
It was quite cold that night.
that was things. I bet it was hard to find a new place to sleep, huh, Edward?
I was sleeping in so many random places. Scotsman, you won't believe this. I slept while doing the. Sorry, stumbling over my words as well. I slept while pulling my train into Knapford and nearly crashed into Percy.
Oh my word!
No.
Sleep puffing? You were sleep puffing?
I was very tired.
Oh my word! You poor engine! Oh my goodness!
But
Oh,
Philip was
my.
there to stop us in time, so it worked out pretty well in the end.
Goodness.
Philip?
Clever little engine.
Yes, Philip, the diesel box cab.
Oh, the little mascot!
Yes.
Your little mascot from the Great Railway Show! Oh, I love him! I love him!
Thomas and I helped him from Vinny. I remember.
I remember hearing about that. That Vinny, oh my! I cannot begin to tell you how many times I must apologize for him. He is a nice chap once you get to know him, but seriously, his competitive nature. Oh my! But really, I like Philip. I really do, because he reminds me of myself when I was little. Or when I was younger, rather. When I was younger. Yes, I
You were not little, you were just younger.
was two tenders.
And Scotsman and I have always been the same size.
Well, some of us are a little bigger than most. But yes, I really like Philip. He reminds me of myself when I was young. And to be young again.
He's a quaint little one.
I think you still have it in you, Scott.
Oh, thank you, Edward. Thank you.
Admittedly, he still does. Now, how I feel about Rebecca and Nia joining the Tinmouth Shed crew. Well, it's always nice. Since you left Tinmouth, Edward, it's always nice to have someone fill the void. I hear that Henry will be leaving soon.
Oh my word, Henry will be leaving the shed too?
Unfortunately, yes, so Rebecca can join. But
Hmm.
Henry and I are
Oh
still...
my! I never realized that Rebecca's turning up there would cause this much changing of tables, you might say.
Neither would I, but
Well, I really hope things go well for for all of you in the end. I really do.
I'm sure it will. And Henry and I will still see each other all the time, because Henry still has the flying kipper to pull and his fast passenger trains and his goods trains and all that. I'm sure he'll find a suitable place to sleep, like Edward did in the end.
Yes, that's right. You were saying where were you staying again, Edward?
I'm staying nearest my branch line at Wellsworth.
Now, if Thomas or Percy were to do the same, maybe someday Henry...
Now, don't be so rash, Gordon.
Thomas and Percy are always chatting and keeping us bigger engines awake.
and if I bought my Gordon, I'm afraid you will not like having Rebecca around either.
Why is that?
Because she let's just say she likes to keep a conversation alive.
Oh, rather like I did that one night I came over.
Yes! I remember you telling me about that one, Rebecca. Or Caitlyn, sorry, oh my word. I really am losing it. There's so many names to remember.
Perhaps Rebecca and I are alike, personality-wise.
Merlin,
I wouldn't say that. I'd say she's a little more, what's the word? She's a little more, it's not exactly, a worrisome persona like Henry, but, I'm sorry, what was those words?
Nervous. Oh, timid. That works too.
Timid. She can be a little timid at times, but there was something else you just said, Ashima. What was it?
All I said was timid. That was
you
it.
said timid? Somebody was saying something else. What was it?
Nervous? Is she nervous, perhaps?
Nervous! Yes, that's the word. That's it right there. Yes. She's and also a little quiet, timid, nervous. Yes. But once you know her and once she gets to know you, then oh my goodness.
I'm sure we're going to be fast friends, she and I. Get it, fast friends, because we're fast.
Oh my.
Very clever, Caitlyn.
I'm surprised I didn't think of it first.
There's a question here for Scotsman.
No.
Do you think you and Gordon could win in a race against an American electric train called the Amtrak Acela? I'm not sure how to say that.
Amtrak, huh? I think I recall hearing something about that when I first visited America. I'm not entirely sure what that meant, but it's a type of diesel electric?
Yes, it is.
Oh my.
Ooh. Could you?
I'll have to ask my driver. Driver, please look up the Amtrak diesel electric. Let's see here. I want to know how fast these engines really go. I'm curious now. Really curious. Let me see here.
Probably much faster than us.
Oh, there's many types here. There's a GE Genesis. Oh my. An EMDF 69PHAC. Seriously, what is with all these little these bunch of random numbers and letters put together? It's well, why can't they just call them like what they call you and me, Gordon? We're Gresley A3s.
Exactly.
Why can't they just say something as simple as that?
I have no idea.
Yes, again, these days are just really. It's just oh my.
There is another question for all of us. Have we ever heard of an experimental engine named
Experimental?
Merlin?
Oh my, Merlin. Oh, I remember Merlin very well.
Most of the time, just good to see him.
Do tell us, Scotsman.
Well, he is a little odd at times, but he's really a very endearing person. He has a very endearing personality. And he really is very, very, very optimistic. Even whenever something looks very bleak, or whenever anybody is in a down state, I always saw him there, always cheering somebody up. That was his defining characteristic. I liked him for that. And personally, I haven't seen him for a long time. I really haven't. I always wonder about Merlin.
He was an experimental engine? What was experimental about him?
Well,
Funnels. Apparently.
yes, that's right. He had three. But wait a minute, Gordon. How do you know he had 3 funnels?
Okay.
Thomas told me about him.
Thomas?
Yes, he did.
He told you. How did he meet Merlin? Wait a minute.
It's a long story. But
Wait a minute. Merlin is still
It's a very
out there?
long story.
Merlin is still out there? Where is he?
Well, I'm not sure. Thomas.
Somewhere.
Oh, wait a minute. What am I saying? Thomas has told me that he's at the Steelworks on the mainland right now.
I wonder how
The Steelworks?
Oh.
Yes.
Well, which one in particular? Because there's many over there.
Well, I'm not sure what name it is.
Who else works at the Steelworks? Maybe I might know.
Well, from what I recall, Thomas did tell me there were 2 engines that work there. One is a diesel named Frankie, and another is a tank engine called Hurricane.
Hurricane.
Yes.
You mean like
similar to
the
mine.
store?
Yes, that's what Thomas said.
I'm not entirely sure about Hurricane, but Frankie almost sounds familiar.
Really?
That name almost sounds familiar. But oh my word, I'll have to ask my friends around, because I can't believe it. Merlin is still out there. I can't believe it.
Neither can
Oh,
I.
wonderful.
You've met Merlin before, have you, Scotsman?
I was just telling you, I have. We used to be good friends. We really did, especially after that one period. I really don't want to give too much away, because I don't want to put too many dark clouds, because he was built for military purposes.
Oh,
I see.
Oh, I remember those days very well.
Yes, you indeed. Because the reason why he had those 3 funnels, for some of you who may not know, like maybe you, Ashima, and maybe you too, Caitlyn, for those of you who don't know why he had those 3 funnels, was because it was built to help him disperse his steam and smoke, to make him so he can appear as invisible. But it was really to help him hide. It was really to create like this
clever.
cloud cover, I think. But unfortunately,
blanket.
I'm sorry?
Like a big blanket.
yes,
It's like
like
a
a big blanket. But unfortunately, it didn't work out so well. But
Oh, no.
but we did work together a couple times. But then we spent a lot of time together. But then just one day he just disappeared. And it is so gratifying to know that he is out there, and I'm going to have to keep an eye out for him.
Go find him.
Maybe like
I most certainly will.
I could put a word for Thomas, and he can tell you where he is at what Steelworks.
Oh, thank you very much, Emily.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, I'm looking up at this one of the
Characters as well.
these. Let's see here. I'm trying to look up these Amtraks, and so far, they seem to be going about upwards of about 100 miles an hour. So, back to answer that earlier question with those Amtrak engines, I would like to think that, yes, I think you and me, Gordon, would definitely be able to beat those Amtrak diesel electrics.
See,
I really think
I
we
told
would.
you so.
Yes.
I told you so.
I would love to see that.
Oh, and there's another
Very impressive.
What happened to Splatter and Dodge? Well, I can't say really, because I've never met those 2.
Splatter and Dodge?
Oh,
Who are they?
No idea. Oh,
It's a very long it's a very long and scary story.
You tell.
that was
Someone seems to be accusing me of being in a disguise. Ashima,
What?
are you lady in disguise? What? Who?
A lady in disguise? What? You are a lady. You are a lady. What does that mean? Lady in disguise. What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know if you've noticed, but we are not human.
No.
So I don't know what you could possibly be referring to.
But I personally think, Ashima, that you are your actions are very much like that of a lady. You are very, very much like a lady. But again, I don't understand what that means. That's saying lady in disguise. Are you suggesting that we are humans disguised as engines?
What? That would be rather
That's one of the mysteries of the world.
peculiar.
Yes, oh my word.
Moving on, maybe.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Please do that.
let's move on.
Let's see now.
Someone
Oh,
asked if
Gordon.
Oh,
Here's
sorry.
from Gordon. I'm sorry, Caitlyn, but this one's to Gordon. Have you spotted Diesel 10 recently?
Yes, I have.
Oh,
About
yeah.
a few years ago when we came over to Tidmouth Sheds on Christmas.
Oh, yes, I remember that day.
Firstly caught him stealing tinsel from the sheds. So he
Yes.
rounded us all up, and we chased him all the way to the Dieselworks to get our decorations back.
Why
Who is
did
this
he-
Diesel 10? Who
Why
is
did he
he?
steal your decorations? That's not nice.
He has this
No,
claw
it's not. He's
that he
quite
used
a
to grab things.
scary Diesel. He's a warship.
A diesel, huh?
Yes,
A warship?
he's a hydraulic claw. It's something I've never seen before, really.
I have.
Wait a minute. Hydraulic claw?
Yes.
Oh, that engine. Oh, him. I remember him. Oh my word. He was built here on the mainland, but then when they added that mechanical claw of his, he was sent away. Because that having that kind of attachment on you is actually illegal over here. It exceeds the. I think they said it exceeds the loading gauge. I think that's what it is. Something around there, but he's on Sodor. That's where they sent him.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my.
Dieselworks right now.
Oh my, indeed. And wait a minute.
Well,
Smudger
he
and
has-
Dodge. Smudger and Dodge. Diesel 10. Oh, I know those two as well. Oh my.
Scotsman, you seem to know a lot of engines. But
Well,
I think-
some engines, because you have to realize there are some engines that like Caitlyn, she lives here on the mainland, but then she goes to Sodor a lot. I know her, and I know also her. Is Connor your friend, Caitlyn? Is he your friend?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I know him, and I also know Stephanie, and I also know.
Stepney, by the way.
I'm sorry.
It's Stepney.
That's what I said, Stephanie.
No, it's Stepney, not Stepney.
You pronounced it wrong, Scotsman.
Oh my! There I go again.
Great famous engine, huh, brother?
Moving right along. And there was also this Stephanie and
Never mind.
oh my! I am just I know there's a few engines on the mainland that I know have visited Sodor in the past.
I think you're
And
forgetting
Diesel
about
10
Ginty and Pug as well.
Ginty and
Who,
Pug.
Edward?
And Wilbert.
Ginty and
Why?
oh yes,
Wilbert! Yes, I
too.
remember Wilbert. I remember Wilbert and Ginty and Pug. Ginty and Pug. Aren't they tank engines?
Very small tank. Yes.
Melanie asks all of us, have we had conversations with the Scarloey engines? And I am happy to assure you that, yes, Emily and I talk to the Scarloey engines all the time.
Of course.
I mostly talk to the handler.
Well, I would, if some of you were here earlier, I do know some of their counterparts, the Talaflin Railway, and I've met with Talaflin and Dalcock, and they told me about the Scholarly Railway, and I would like to meet them if I ever can. And yes, there's some of the many things I would like to see about Sodor.
What about the rest of you?
Caitlyn, there's a question for you.
Mhm.
It says, in the next great race, will you ever... Oh, wait. What? I don't understand this question. I don't know why I'm seeing it. It says, will you ever appear in the next film? I never realized we...
Well, I don't know about being on film. I have been filmed before, which was rather exciting. But I would like to be in the Great Race someday. I think that'd be quite fun. But I don't know if it'd be fair for the other engines because, as you know, I do go quite fast.
Yes. You know, I've always thought of being streamlined myself.
Really, Emily?
Yes.
So.
Oh, that's right. You did want to be streamlined for a while.
Yes.
Remember. But you don't need to be because you're an amazing engine as it is.
Yes.
Yes.
You taught me that, Caitlyn.
Emily, you can only be you.
Yes.
Please remember that.
Of course. Thanks, Ashima.
By the way, have the rest of you had conversations with the Scholarly engines recently?
I haven't had the pleasure.
Well, would you ever want
Not
to
recently,
try?
no.
Well, I know that you used to talk to Sodor and Reneus a lot, Edward.
Well, that was that one time when I had problems with my brakes.
Oh, what happened?
But yes, just the tires wore down on my brakes. It's nothing real serious.
There's a couple of questions I'm seeing here. They're both directed at me. One is from RJ the Steam Engine 1.5. He says, I'm not sure what this entirely means, but have you seen the cap forward engine before, Flying Scotsman? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, RJ, but you'll have to elaborate on that a little.
A cab forward engine?
Cab forward.
Oh, interesting.
I think I know what he's talking about. You see, Thomas, he's told me that there is another engine he met on the mainland that is cab forward. I believe he said her name was Lexi.
A friend of Merlin's, perhaps?
I think so, yes. I don't know much about her, but all I know is that she is a cab forward engine. And
Cab forward.
that's all.
I've never heard of a cab forward.
Oh, I'd love to see
Did
a
you say that he's a friend of Merlin's?
Yes, that's what Thomas said.
I'll have to, if I ever run into that Steelworks place, I'll have to ask him who Lexi is. I'll have to ask Merlin who Lexi is, because I've never seen a cab forward before. What is a cab forward exactly?
I'm not sure. I've never met her, but Thomas did say that it's kind of like an engine going backwards, although not
Backwards?
technically.
Leading with their cab, I suppose.
I think so.
True. That's why it's called cab forward.
But RJ, if that is your question, I don't think I've ever met a cab forward, but if I ever meet Merlin again, I will definitely ask him about her, because that would be something interesting. And here's the other question that was put forth to me by Joey Condry. Do I know D199?
Oh,
yes,
no, not him.
I know D199, but not as how you put it. I know him better as a spam can. But of course, don't ever tell him I said that.
Don't worry.
Of course not.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Edward, there's a question for you.
Oh, hello.
Nebula. Have you heard of the story of Timothy the Ghost Engine?
Next question. I prefer not to talk about Timothy. I know of a Timothy, if you were wondering.
Well, everyone, let's have a look and see if there's more questions for Edward.
Let's see here. Oh, here's something for you, Emily. Emily, there's something here for you. It's from a username named Toy Golden Freddy, and they ask, Emily, do you think Lady will return in the future?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really around during the events that Thomas told me about an engine named Lady. I wish I would have known her, but
Lady?
Wait a minute.
yes.
Lady.
I've heard of this lady character.
Wait,
Oh my goodness! Now I think I understand. I
wait.
think I understand the question from earlier when somebody asked Ashima if she was Lady in Disguise. Is that the name of an engine?
Yes,
I do not know.
Thomas said.
Oh my goodness!
I assure you, I am not in any disguise.
But I think somebody, what they were just asked, because this is just what I'm putting out there, Ashima, is that when somebody said what we were trying to discuss earlier, if you were Lady in Disguise, we thought that was something else. But it turns out that that they're asking if you are an engine named Lady. But I think I think that's what they were trying to say. But I can most assuredly say right now we have established that you are not this Lady in Disguise, as Emily has just said, by answering that question.
Well, speaking of other diesels, Dr. Merlin, Fans NO2, asked if you knew another diesel named D261.
D261. D261. Is he a big green diesel? Is he big and green?
Yes, he's big. He's green.
And I know this one. Stephanie told me all about this one. Calls him Bowler. because if I remember how he told me was that the D261 came to Sodor to help for a little bit, but when he went to go pull some coaches, he sucked a hat into his air intake.
And I had to take over the press from halfway.
That's right. Oh my. Oh my goodness! He will not let anybody. We will never let that down on him. That is what we call. That's what we call him. And we never really let him live it down. Oh my word!
Never let him forget it.
Yeah, that's something you never forget.
Edward, I see a question for you. It said, can you recall to us the event that occurred long ago in which you rescued Gordon on his infamous hill?
Oh, yes. This is my favorite story. I keep reminding Gordon about it.
Don't, Edward, please. Don't.
I'm sorry, Gregory. So there was one time where Gordon really didn't want to pull trucks. I think this is when James was just arriving as well.
Why not talk about him instead of when I stuck on that hill?
I can think of more instances where you got stuck on your own hill, Gordon. Oh dear, Scott.
Caitlyn! Hey, Caitlyn, are you still there? Now, I see a question here for you. It is from Puppet Streamers. And they ask, do you prefer freight or passengers?
Oh, what an interesting question. Well, as you know, I was built for pulling passengers, and that's primarily what I do. But once in a while, I get lucky enough that I can pull a freight train. And I love both, but I do like having a bit of a change-up once in a while and getting to pull freight. Although the troublesome trucks can be a little bit tricky.
Troublesome trucks? I don't believe I've heard of those.
Oh,
I have.
They're everywhere.
I've heard of them. Yes.
Oh, you're not missing much, Ashima.
They are quite the mischief makers, from what I keep hearing.
Oh, I see.
In fact, there's even a song dedicated to them.
Oh, yes, I think I've heard it.
Really?
There's some.
Let's see if I can remember the words. Let's see.
Aren't there some trucks on your branch line that are notorious for how troublesome they are?
What, Gordon?
I don't think anyone was listening.
I was talking about those trucks on Edward's branch line. You know, the ones that carry China clay.
Oh.
I'm afraid I am very much in the dark here about these trucks.
But anyway, let me, as I was saying, that there is a song that is written about those trucks. To see if I can remember the words. The engines always think they are so clever, and so they like to bump the trucks around. They bump them in the sidings, they bump them in the yard. They better beware, they better take care, they better be on their guard. Because those troublesome trucks will get the engines every time. Troublesome trucks will run the engines off the line. They push them here and push them there until they go too fast. Then they push them once again, laughing while they crash. Troublesome trucks will get the engines every time. Troublesome trucks will run the engines off the line. Because they don't care how big they are, to us them it's just a game. Those troublesome trucks will get them all the same.
Oh, three hands, I would clap.
Bravo!
Thank you. I'm not really known for singing all that much, but that is just part of the song there. I think you can look it up on this what my driver is calling YouTube.
My driver says that you can also look it up on.
What a strange name! Like I'm no tube.
It must be part of this internet thing. This internet.
Yeah, it
business.
must be.
Oh,
I see a question here for me. I'm not entirely sure what they mean by this, and if I hope I'm reading this right. But personally, I think this person needs to check on their grammar. It says, Scotsman, do you know the way? No, I think what they mean is, do you know the way? But the way to where? Where in particular? Wait a minute, my driver is saying that this is something called a... My driver is saying this is something called a meme. It is something about this little character called a Uganda Knuckles?
Well, while you're figuring that out.
What's a Uganda Knuckles?
Quite an unusual name. Oh.
Very weird indeed.
While we're at it, there's a question for Emily, Caitlyn, and Ashima. Can you sing really useful engine?
What did it say?
Train Inspector 11G2 asked that.
I didn't hear the question. What was it?
They want us to sing a song. Really useful engine.
Oh!
All those girls.
Well, we can try that. You're up for it.
I think I know this one, but perhaps someone should start us off because I'm not sure.
Well,
I think I know somebody that might be good on starting the song off. Edward!
Yes, Edward.
Edward, I think you could start this song off pretty well. I know it.
I really, my age has just gone to the point where I don't think I'll be able to.
Age.
No.
You're never too old to carry a tune every now and then.
Go on, Edward.
Oh.
Just off Toby. Or Salty.
Let's see.
I think Scott should. I think Scott should.
You want me?
it off.
You want me to sing it?
Yeah, why not?
Well,
You said you
okay.
You said you didn't have any chances to sing for a while, so.
Oh, well.
Come on,
It's a lovely
warm up
voice.
your vocals.
No, well, let me see here. I can do. I'm sorry. He's a really useful engine, you know.
There it is.
On the other end,
Other engines they'll tell you so. He hops and pops and whistles, rushing to and fro. He's the really useful engine we adore.
There we go.
He's the one. He's the one. He's the really useful engine that we adore. He's the one. He's the number one. Thomas the Tank Engine.
Wow.
Lovely.
Now, if we can just do that more in sync.
So that song was about Thomas then.
Yes, that is. That's one of his more famous ones. In fact, if I remember, my driver's telling me that in the early days of the television show for Thomas and his friends, which was called Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, they had some songs that were written for a special audio cassette, or was it a CD? It accompanied a special story, and there were multiple songs, and that was just one of them. It was called Really Useful Engine, and then there was one that was about Thomas as well, and it's called Thomas's Anthem. Really, Ashima, if you haven't heard these songs before, you should, because they are classic. They are very classic.
I
shall certainly look into it.
Yours
I
too.
would love to hear songs about Thomas.
You like to hear songs about Gordon as well?
Oh no! Oh my!
There's a song about me, you know.
I know. Don't remind me.
Well, Scotsman.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm missing what you're saying, Gordon.
Looks like I one-upped you on that.
Oh, you boys.
Oh,
Oh, I see a question.
I see a question for everyone.
I'm sorry, Emily, go ahead.
No.
Well, I see a question for everyone. It says, do we all remember the Reverend Audrey?
I don't think I ever personally met him. I only heard about him in passing, saying that he included me in the book. And also, actually, no, wait a minute. Yes, I did meet him. Yes, because how else did he write about me visiting Sodor?
He would come to visit Sodor all the time.
Yes, he was asking me. Because after that, I went up there and I went to Sodor and I came back. He asked me how my stay was. I almost forgot about that.
I'm not very in the dark about this Audrey person.
He's the one that wrote this book series, of which is based off of what happens on Sodor.
I see.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's a really wonderful series. And sometime after he started writing the books, I believe his son took over. His name was
Christopher?
what was his name? Christopher. Yes,
Something
yes.
like that, yes.
So yeah, that's my memory of the Reverend right there.
I remember him quite well. What about you, Edward?
I remember bringing him from Barrow and Furnace one day.
Ooh.
Well, I have no personal memories of him, for I've never met him.
Neither have I.
No.
Neither have I.
Well, unfortunately, I really hate to say it, but you won't be able to meet the Reverend at all because he how can I put this, Edward?
Oh,
I think I know what you mean.
Yes.
I believe
I think I understand. If it takes that long to work out a way to say it, I think I already
I know,
know.
but to my understanding, some of his children are still here with us. Christopher and he had I think there was like a daughter as well. I can't remember. There's two of them, but I can't remember which in particular.
Well,
But there's still, if you ever happen to go to the UK and you come across any members of the Audrey family, they'll be able to tell you all about the Reverend and how he started writing about Thomas and all his friends.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Let me see for any questions.
I see
Oh,
a
In fact,
question.
that
See-
reminds me of a question that I saw earlier in regards to the in regards to. But go ahead with that one. I'm going to try finding this one question.
well, I found one question that was directed. Oh, I found it. It was directed towards Gordon and Scotsman. Have you met Tornado, the new peppercorn A1?
Oh, yes, I have.
Oh, don't remind me about Tornado.
Oh, I can tell it was.
He,
I like Tornado.
Can you
he,
share a history?
well, not exactly a history per se, but well, how can I put this? He broke my record.
I see.
Wow.
He broke mine and Mallard's record for fastest steam locomotive in the world.
I see.
I will have to
Yeah,
meet him.
it's a bit of a. What did you say, Caitlyn?
Oh, I said I'd love to meet him.
Oh,
I think
Gordon, I think you can join me on what I'm about to say next.
What's that?
I think I know
Oh, the
this.
indignity.
Definitely
How did I know one of you was going to say it?
Well, I
think
want to
we
make
should
it
do it
known
at the
that I
same
said
time.
it first.
I see a question for me.
Mhm.
Ashima, how are you and Thomas getting along after the Great Railway Show? Well, it's been a while since I talked to him, but I would love to talk to him again. Hopefully, with this new technology, I should be able to do it soon. But, well, after he and I had both won the shunting challenge, I had to leave quickly to get myself refueled on the ferry. But before I left, he found me and we talked for a bit. But we were both quite sad because, well, I would have to get on the ferry soon and go home. But he invited me back to Sodor for a while. So I was able
That's
to catch my
nice.
ferry there at the docks. I was able to spend a little extra time with him and you, Emily, for a while, and that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope you come back someday.
Me too.
I-
I found you very pleasurable company while I was at the Great Railway Show.
Mhm.
Yes, I would love to come back and see you all. Thankfully, this technology makes the separation easier to deal with.
Of course.
Yes, indeed. However
I'm sure-
difficult it may
I
be.
would definitely agree.
I'm sure you have many friends in India, though.
I do.
Unless I'm
that's-
mistaken, Ashima, wasn't there another engine at the Great Railway Show that was from India as well?
Oh,
Yes,
I know this one. It's the
yes.
So do I.
His name was Rajiv. He's a good close friend of mine. Well, he competed in the best decorated engine competition and he won. He won, actually. I'm sure you recall it.
Yes, I remember hearing about that, and much to James's chagrin as well.
Yes.
I'm about it for
He
weeks.
so wanted to win.
Oh, James wouldn't stop ranting on about it.
No, you weren't
Merely going to you and Henry, Gordon.
unlike us. Percy didn't even join
Well,
because he was.
there's this one question I'm trying to find, but I'm having a hard time trying to find it. I think it was directed at you, Gordon, in relation to the railway series.
That.
I don't know the person who asked, but they said, what are your thoughts on the railway series being cancelled? Have they been cancelled?
Well, I must say it's a shame that our beloved railway series had to end. But if Christopher felt that he didn't want to tell any more stories, I personally respect that. But I will say,
As do I.
I am glad that our stories are still being told in some form or another, not just in the form of
Agreed.
the TV series, but by the many fans who come to Sodor and listen to our stories and share them on this internet.
So there's another thing to be grateful for on this internet, because sometimes some stories are. This is another way for keeping stories alive.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
See, what other questions are there? Oh, Gordon, you might not like this one, but I wish to ask. But it says, Gordon, why do you hate it when Flying Scotsman calls you little brother?
Oh!
Now this is a question I can get behind.
Oh,
Exactly the same size. That's why I hate when he calls me that.
I wouldn't exactly say that, Gordon. Because do you have an extra tender? Hmm?
He does have a good point.
I
But
don't.
Scotsman, don't. Pardon me for asking, but didn't one of your Doncaster cousins take one of your tenders?
oh.
What are you
really?
talking about?
A four
This one.
A4 named Bittern, I think.
Bittern.
Yes. I remember him all too well.
Anyway, next question.
Let's find one for Edward.
Actually,
I think I saw
this
one.
this one is directed at me, Emily, and Caitlyn. It is from our good friend Rainbow Dash, and Rainbow Dash asks, Emily, Scotsman, and Caitlyn, did you know Thomas used to be green?
I didn't know that.
So did Edward.
You did?
No,
I
was
think I
young.
can answer this question. When Thomas first came to the island, he was painted in a very interesting green color.
Oh.
Really? He wasn't blue?
No, he came from a different railway.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
Well, what railway would that be?
Something along the lines of London, Brighton, and South Coast.
Ah.
Oh, that place. Yes. I think I've heard about that place. That's where he was built. And he had many of other cousins and sisters and brothers there as well.
And I can tell you one thing, Gordon did not take a liking to Thomas at first.
I bet I can tell why. See why.
Oh,
Am I
Oh,
right,
so-
Gordon?
Again, as common shunters and not very useful, that's why.
Mm.
Hmm.
I'm a shunter.
I take it you
Oh.
see now that tender engines can also shunt.
Well, I can say that tender engines can shunt, but in my case, it's a little difficult than most because of my two tenders. It's a little tricky at times.
I can
But-
completely understand why shunting would be difficult for bigger engines, but that doesn't mean it is an insignificant job.
Well, I agree.
not
It's not
beneath-
insignificance,
It's
I
not beneath us.
agree.
Mhm.
but it is a little tricky for me in particular because I have two tenders, and sometimes you have to be a little careful when backing up.
And that is completely understandable.
Yeah. That's the only little thing I have about shunting. But again, I am not afraid of having to do my own shunting, which I believe can be said for more than others.
Looks like someone's asking if you have a crush on Axel. If it's true that you have a crush on
I'm sorry. What? Who asked this?
oh, well,
I don't understand all this.
Do you
I'm afraid I
really?
don't understand. Who was that question directed to?
Emily.
Emily,
I don't know any Axel.
I think that's a yes.
Oh my.
I wasn't there when the Great Race was happening, so I have no idea what's going on.
Oh
That's all
my.
right, Emily. He's very charming.
Axel was another engine from the railway show.
Anyway.
He raced with Scotsman.
Yes, he did, and that sad to say the least, I almost beat him if a certain incident didn't happen.
Ah.
Oh,
I think Tom has told me about this one.
Yeah, but he is really a decent sort. He is a decent sort.
Well, maybe there's
so handsome. Did I say that out loud? Oh,
He is very charming, I have to admit.
yes.
There is a question here, by the way, and this is for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of an engine called Hiro? And it's from that one red engine.
Oh, yes, I know him.
Oh, Hiro.
Hiro?
Yes.
I remember.
Japanese engine?
Hero?
He
Didn't
helped us out on the
he
Green
compete
Line.
in the railway show as well?
Did he?
I don't know.
I thought he did.
He
No.
was.
I've seen Hiro from time to time on the mainland.
No,
I
he
love
raced.
Hiro.
He competed in the strength competition.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
yes! I remember Vinny telling me about a big black tender engine with the number 51.
Yes.
Is that...
That was
Oh, yeah.
That would be Hiro.
Oh.
Very wise, too.
So
The
I
big
hear.
turned engine as well.
from
I've
all
seen him a
the-
couple times, but I've never really talked to him all that much. Which is kind of a shame.
Oh, you should. He's lovely.
Indeed.
Mhm.
Quite wise, too.
Yes.
Well, Emily, I think there's a question for you that you may find easier to answer.
All right.
Money on our old home, brother. When Duck
What?
stayed in your berth at the sheds that one summer, when the Fat Controller brought the slip coaches over, do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I still don't understand what slip coaches are.
What was
Oh, I know what slip coaches are. They were a type of coach that could disconnect from the train while running.
That
Yes,
would be
he does.
Basically, this is...
Very interesting.
But yes, I felt a little left out when Duck took my birth. It was like, I don't know. I felt left out. Like now,
Oh,
Poor Emily.
So sorry about that, Emily.
yes.
Well, don't
I
forget,
had to find someplace
long
else.
before you did. And long
anyway,
before-
back to, sorry. Somebody saying something.
Well, Duck did used to sleep at that shed long before you came here, Emily. But
Well,
don't.
Yes.
He now has his own shed on the Little Western, Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Anyway, what I was trying to explain back to Edward about the slipper coaches is that these coaches were used for another technique to help get trains done quicker without having to stop. So when an engine was coming up to the station, it would slow down, and then the coach could be disconnected and then brought to a stop at the platform.
Oh.
Oh,
Or
I
however
remember
many
now.
Very
coaches.
interesting.
Or however many of coaches could be connected to them. And it would
I
go
remember now.
on all the way to the end of the line. Yes.
I remember now. James took them from Duck.
That would be very
Oh,
Took credit for the idea
Oh.
from Duck.
that's never good.
Oh, I see a question for Caitlyn, Scotsman, and Ashima.
Yes?
Rainbow Dash asks, "Do you know Steven?"
Who?
Steven, at the castle.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Steven.
I'm afraid I do not.
Oh,
Oh, that's a shame.
he was one of the
Steven.
earliest. He was one of the earliest steam engines ever made.
I
Steven.
regularly make
Was he really?
and I see Steven all
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say he was?
He's
Earliest
Rocket.
engine ever built.
Rocket.
Yes.
Oh,
Rocket?
well, I don't think I've ever met him. But wait a minute. Are you saying that the Rocket still rides again? Still rides?
Yes, he's at the
He
he's
still
at
goes?
Ulster Castle.
Yes,
He's
he
at
was,
Olmsted Castle.
Really?
yes, he was restored.
And he's
Oh
so
my
lovely.
word! Oh my word. Gordon, why didn't you tell me that you had the rockets on your railway?
I guess it just slipped my mind.
That's Jordan.
Just like a slip coach, right?
Just like.
Coach.
But now that's another thing I'm going to have to add to my list of when I visit Sodor again.
Oh,
Mountain Railway, Skarloey Railway, and Ulfstead Castle.
Also,
Must go to
Scott,
Ulfstead Castle.
I'm sorry?
if I may say, your brother didn't tell you another engine that works at Ulfstead.
Oh?
Oh yes, that's
Have you-
right.
Have you heard of the coffee pots?
Oh.
Coffee pot?
Not
He used
Pardon?
to he used to run, which is now Thomas's branch line.
I'm afraid how can a coffee pot run on rails? All they are is just a pot that holds coffee.
pot.
They're a
Not
type of
actually a
steam
coffee
engine,
pot.
Scott.
Steam engine.
Oh? Well, I'll have to
His name
ask
is
my
Glenn.
driver to look that up. I'll have to ask him to look that up. Well, he just came back with one result for me. He's been looking at this for a while. You know how I keep saying, why I keep seeing this, these couple of names always keep popping up in the chat associated with me? Joel and this, GeebMachine. Wait a minute. He says it's pronounced GeebMachine.
Have no
Whatever
idea
that
who
is.
that is.
Oh, we've got a
Yeah,
question.
whatever that means. But anyway, he says this is actually the name of a person here on the internet, and his name is Joel Hunter, and apparently he does voices. And the reason why everybody keeps associating him with me is because he voices me in a show called the Thomas Creator Collective.
I have no
Oh.
idea.
I've never heard of it.
Oh.
Sounds like an
I don't think
interesting
I have
fellow.
either.
Oh, he could do any voice? His voice at will?
That's what it sounds like. He's telling me is that this person he does what is called impressions.
Oh, how fun.
I would like to meet this fellow someday.
Oh, looks like a frequent visitor to Sodor by the name of Enterprising Engine 93. He writes stories about us too.
I've heard about him.
Oh, hello.
I've heard about this Enterprising
Such a-
Engine 93.
Such a charming fellow he is.
He asked me about if I wished I had flipping sweet smoke detectors like you.
Do you?
What? Well, what was the question?
He asked if I had smoke deflectors. Pah!
Oh.
You never see me wearing some ugly things on me.
No offense, Gordon. I didn't think you'd pull it off.
Dear Gordon.
No
Yes, I
offense,
think they're
Gordon.
quite fetching on Flying Scotsman, but I'm not sure Gordon could pull it off either.
I wouldn't
Oh, don't
wear
forget
them anyway.
Tornado.
Well, actually, if my memory serves me, I actually remember seeing a series here on this this YouTube from somebody known as who did they driver? Who was this person again? DCG12B is this username, and he makes this little series called Jimmy the Ginty. Apparently, obviously the layout is really poor quality in my opinion. It's done in a person's bedroom using model trains, but the stories he actually tells are really interesting. I would recommend if you get your drivers to look it up. But there is the reason why I bring it up is because he also has done a few stories based on Thomas and everybody else here, and in fact, he made one about you, Gordon, getting smoke deflectors.
Yes, I remember I used to have them.
That would be interesting.
I hated them. I couldn't do them properly.
I remember when Gordon couldn't even see which side Duck was on.
But I remember this.
He had them
this-
on for at least a few weeks.
What was his name? DGCB, whatever his name.
DCG12B. That's the username.
Oh yes, I remember that. He also collects stories, and he also brings along a friend named Shunter Productions. They would write stories together
about us.
Oh, yes. I think I remember seeing some of that as well.
Like,
I personally really love DCG-12B's voice. He's very, very calm, gentle, relaxing sound.
I think
I really like it.
I think he would be up there with one of the many narrators that have told our stories, like Ringo Starr, Michelangelos,
Yes.
Mark Morgan, even George Carlin.
Oh, yes.
really
I've heard of
George Carlin.
I've heard about this George Carlin. Yes, he's from what I hear. He before he even actually went on the show, he was
He was a comedian.
Well, yes, a comedian, but let's just say he should have had his mouth washed with soap.
Oh dear.
My.
But I would have to agree. He was really, in my opinion, he is really one of the best narrators, especially on the other side of the pond.
One of the best comedians of all time, actually.
Yes, I've heard that.
Even though some of his comments aren't very kid-friendly, if I do say so myself.
Yes.
I see
Anyway,
a question for you, Caitlyn.
I don't think
has Caitlyn left?
right now.
Yes,
Okay.
Caitlin has told me that she's going to head back to the mainland now, but she said she's enjoyed her time here. So,
Aw.
yes, she's gone. We'll just say this in
On the mainland.
But
I'm all right.
thanks, Caitlin, for joining.
Yes,
Thank you, Caitlin.
Goodbye, Caitlyn.
Yes.
Thank you for joining
I hope
us.
to see you again soon.
See you in the next couple of weeks, Caitlin.
Now,
She will.
let's see.
She'll
What
be
other
back soon.
questions are there?
I'm trying to look through here, see if there's any other questions for us.
Hmm.
Oh, I bet there are
Oh,
plenty.
here's one for me. I just came across. It's from Toy Golden Freddy, and he asks, "Flying Scotsman, have you met the city of Truro?" Who hasn't met the city of Truro?
I know.
He whistled to me that one time.
That's right. He told me he whistled at you, Edward. He told me about that, and
And I don't think I don't think I ever told you the story about Gordon knocking himself to bits.
oh, I heard all about that.
The only thing that happened was I lost my dome on the viaduct. That was
Going over 100 miles an hour, yeah, surely.
Gordon, when will you ever learn?
never learned. I still think I could have easily gone 100 miles an hour at that time.
If the wind didn't play against you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, that's what they say about the viaduct at Kronk, where the wind plays trick on you. Teasing wind.
Hey, here's another question for me. Scotsman, do other engines call you Scott?
Everyone on Sodor.
You know, that
calls
is actually
Scott.
that's a very good question. I know that, but on the mainland, nobody ever calls me that. They always call me by my full name, Flying Scotsman.
I wonder why.
Well, I do have a reputation to uphold, you know.
So do I. Or at least I used to. More quick and Emma place me on the express. I've got
See
a
a
question where I recall the time my wheels kept slipping as I tried to leave Knapford.
Oh, I remember
really?
that day well.
Tried to pull a Pippin Emma, I heard.
He wouldn't
It was
stop bragging for 3 hours.
It was frosty out. It was only
Sure. Keep telling yourself that, Gordon.
It's true.
I think we all know the real reason.
Well, the Fat Controller's father.
I'm
Just ask
sorry?
him. Or better yet, just ask Donald or Henry. They would know.
I see a
Alright.
question for me. Ashima,
Thank
does
you.
Thomas like you or like you? Oh, well,
I will
it's
never forget his face. He was blushing for at least a couple of minutes.
oh,
I think I remember that.
I heard something about that. I heard that he did get a little what's the word?
Flustered.
A little tongue tied.
He did.
Lost for words. Something like
Yes.
that.
He did.
All too well.
Oh dear. Oh Gordon. Oh dear Gordon.
He
Oh
throws me
my.
some
I'm almost. Sorry, Ashima. Oh, what did you say?
Nothing. Go on.
Anyway, oh Gordon, I'm afraid you won't like this, but I have to say it. This is another question that was brought forth. Have you slipped into any ditches in recent years?
Oh, yes. I had to take Gordon's special train that one day.
You know, Edward, I always wanted to ask, from that time in particular, what was the special that Gordon was supposed to take?
He was really mad that it wasn't coaches.
But what was it in particular?
You know, I'm gonna have to ask the Fat Control the next time I see him, because I honestly can't remember.
Ask his grandson more like, or his great-grandson more like.
Probably gonna have. Yeah.
By the way,
it was a
by the
very
way,
good special.
Toby wants to join in. By all means, let him join.
But
Alright.
here's a question. I think this is for all of us. It's from the world's biggest Thomas fan, and he asks, do any of you guys have a favorite band?
And
Well, I don't really listen to music much these days.
Neither do I.
I don't know if I have a favorite band. I don't listen to very much music, but I do like to make up my own music.
I
can't
keep
listen.
hearing Ashima.
Yeah, sometimes I sing while I work.
Sometimes I
Well,
just listen to the sounds. Sometimes I listen to the sounds of Philip.
I love it. I sometimes hear the sounds of little engines singing while they work. Particularly Peter Sam.
Peter Sam's a lovely little fellow, isn't he?
Just whistle while you work.
Ashima, I don't think I mentioned this, but you do have a beautiful singing voice.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
do. You
Thank
really
you.
do. It's wonderful to hear. And as for me, I think there are a lot of things I like to listen to. Sometimes my driver will have the radio with him, a little portable radio with him, and he will, in the off break, in the little off times, we will listen to it. And there is one band there's a couple of bands that I like to listen to in particular. And a couple of other people as well. One is, has anyone here ever heard of Genesis?
Oh, Genesis!
I don't believe I have.
My
Well,
driver,
maybe you have heard of this. I'm sorry.
my driver's told me about this band called Genesis, and he's even played a couple songs for me on them. They're fantastic.
Yeah, there's especially this one musician that's from them. He was the drummer for them for a while. Then he went off to do his own thing, and he's one of my favorites as well. He's known as Phil Collins.
I was just going to mention Phil Collins.
He's he's really wonderful. I almost a genius at sometimes. I really like his rhythm. He's got like this what is it called? Almost a jungle beat.
Yes! I mentioned that.
I think
Yes.
I've heard of Phil Collins.
No,
Oh, that reminds me. Have any of you ever heard of the movie Tarzan from
Yes, I
Walt
have.
Disney?
I believe I have. My driver.
Yes,
I
he
My
did,
fine
Ashima.
won't stop raving about it.
Yeah, Ashima. Phil Collins did the songs for that movie.
Oh yes, that movie took place in India, somewhere in India, didn't it? Or am I wrong?
It took place somewhere,
I think it was
like the furthest south, I believe.
think it was somewhere in Africa.
I think it might have been.
Yes,
Well-
I believe it was Africa.
In a deep
Anyway.
jungle.
Yes, and then the other people that
Paxton is here.
Hello, and there's. I'm sorry,
I think Paxton's
That's
joined.
Paxton.
That's
Paxton.
Paxton.
Paxton?
Anyway,
Hello, you lot.
Hello. Hello there, Paxton.
Hello?
who's Paxton?
Oh, Scott, you missed it. It was quite a little bit. Paxton is one of the nice diesels on a railway.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's me. And
Hello,
I love
Pax.
spending time with Diesel and all.
Oh,
Hello,
He,
Scott.
hello there, Paxton.
Why, hello there, Scott. It's so good to see you.
Well, it's nice to meet you too, and as everybody here has just told me that you're one of the nice diesels.
Yes, I'm a nice Diesel.
You sure are, Paxton.
don't turn into Sydney, please.
Who?
Oh, that's right. I don't want to be like Sydney, but
Oh, Scott. Sydney is one of the diesels who constantly forgets pretty much everything.
I will say
Oh.
I do try to get Sydney talk every time, but he's very we do try to get him to get his memory. He's a little absent-minded sometimes, but well, we do try our best. But I do like spending time with Diesel a lot. It's so much fun.
Tells,
Oh,
and,
oh dear.
Handel tells me that you work at the Blue Mountain Quarry, Paxton.
Yes.
Oh yes, I do love working at the Blue Mountain Quarry.
How is the Blue
Especially-
Mountain Quarry?
Oh, well, you know, it's quite busy, and there's Scarloey and Reneus and Sir Handel and Peter Sam and Duncan and Rusty and Luke and my good friend Duke.
Oh, Duke's.
Are these all the little engines that everybody was telling me about, Paxton, earlier? The Scarlowy Railway engines?
Oh, yes, those are the ones.
Oh, I know their counterpart. I know their twins over in Wales. Teleflyn, Dolgark, Sir Hayden, Edward Thomas,
Someone mentioned Edward? No.
Midlander.
But I will say, Scarlowy and Reneus did tell me about those their twins. What were those names? I forgot. There was Taiwan. No, that's not right.
Teleflyn and Dolgok.
Teleflyn and Dolgark.
Oh, Telegram. Oh, that's how could I forget?
You know, I will say this.
Probably good enough.
When I first saw their names, when I first met them, I thought their names were pronounced like so, Tally Lynn and Dolgotch. I really thought that was what their names were pronounced, but it's not. If you are pronouncing it in the Welsh language, which is when two. If I remember hearing it correctly, when two L's sometimes are placed side by side in Welsh dialect, it makes the F sound.
And you'd be correct.
Oh, let's see. I got a question from Toy Golden Freddy. It says, Paxton, have you ever met Splatter and Dodge?
I will return. I've got to top up on water again.
Who?
All right, we'll see you in a minute, Gordon.
Who
Please
are
take
those?
your time.
I don't think I remember those. Who are those two? I don't think I've ever met them.
I was going to say earlier, I when we were talking about Diesel 10 and why he came to Sodor, there were two Diesels that went with him. And they are your same class, Paxton. They are Class 08 Shunters. And one is gray and purple. That, if my memory serves me, the gray and purple one is named Splatter. And the gray and kind of a mustard-colored one, a yellow mustard-colored, is Dodge.
Oh, I see. I think I've heard about those two. I think Diesel 10 was mentioning something about them, but he said something that they moved to the mainland or somewhere down in London. I don't recall, but I think that's where they are. Yes.
Like my question's been answered then.
Well, odd enough, because I live on the mainland and I've never really seen those two in particular. It's been a while.
Well, they've probably been out of service, but what do I know? I'm just a Diesel with no dignity.
So what do you expect?
Oh, and I see there's a question for you, Golden.
And what would that be?
The question is, do you still use your rescue cable?
Well, sometimes if there's no one else around to help out, then yes, sometimes I will come and help. If I'm not busy, of course.
Scotsman,
Yes.
there is a question for you and I. It's from Streamlined Thomas 175. Do you... Oh, this grammar is not right. Do you ever seeing Thomas gets into trouble this time on SLOTLT? Oh my, this grammar is not right.
Oh, I think you mean Ashima Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure.
That's what I said.
What about it? What about Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure?
Gordon, I think you can best explain this one.
Do you ever see Thomas getting into trouble this time on
Story where
Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure?
coaches and then derailed them. And
He did fall into a cavern
just
once.
outside the station throat.
Oh, I heard about that. Yes, I've heard about that incident.
Wasn't pleasant.
He got into trouble a second time by falling into a cavern, but I wouldn't say it was his own fault. It was an accident, really. The ground just came apart.
Oh, was he right?
Oh, he was fine,
Yeah, he was okay.
but he was quite.
Wait, what happened? I lost track.
I was explaining how Thomas fell into a cavern once.
Oh, yes. I did hear about that. That was amazed how he found that ship. And
He found
got
the
in the-
ship?
He found the
Oh,
pirate
yeah.
on there.
Yes, I remember something about Rocky lifting that ship out of that pit.
I also remember Henry being scared of a pirate ship. That
Oh,
ran rails.
don't worry
A
about
pirate
that.
ship that runs on rails?
Oh, he's referring to Skiff, one of our railboats.
A
Oh.
railboat? Interesting.
Quite
I don't think I've ever heard about him.
Well, maybe you could ask the Fat Controller if you could arrange for Doc or Oliver to bring you along their line a little west. Maybe you'll be able to meet Skiff. Or, better yet,
Oh,
might even
I
talk
certainly would like to meet him.
from time to time.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said, Gordon. What was that last part?
And better yet, you might even see him along the main line from time to time.
I'd certainly love to meet him. He sounds interesting.
He's a very nice engine. But not engine. Did I say engine? I meant boat.
The rail.
all right, so there's a question from Rainbow Dash, and it's for all of us. Do you ever see Thomas racing with Bertie?
Oh, don't get me started on that.
I'm surprised they haven't caused an accident.
Well, Bertie did blow a gasket one time, from what the Fat Controller told me.
Who is
Oh,
he?
yes.
I don't believe I've met him.
That is
I also remember the time when Diesel played hide and seek with the other Diesels, and I was very concerned about that. I looked all over Sodor. I looked at the Blue Mountain Quarry. I looked at Gabbard Station. I looked at the docks.
We were talking about Thomas and Bertie.
Well, what I mean is Diesel was racing so hard that he ran out of oil, so I had to come and lend some of my oil to him. And
Oh, that was awfully nice of you.
Speaking of running out, Gordon, remember when your boiler went dry?
Oh,
All too well.
Gordon's
And Pax-
boiler went dry.
Oh, you won't believe this, Scott. Paxton here launched a rock into his boiler.
I do remember that. Wasn't
Oh
that
my.
fun, Gordon?
Oh dear.
And Paxton had to shunt him to the Steamworks.
Oh, yes, I enjoyed that very much.
Oh my.
Wasn't that lovely, Gordon?
Lovely.
Oh my. Oh, here's a question here, and it's for me, Ashima, Emily, Gordon, and Edward from a Brandon Polly, and he asks.
The Paxton.
He asks, can any of you do impersonations? I can do a very good impression of Henry, Percy, and Thomas. Ah.
I don't think I'm really good with impressions.
Oh, my personations?
one time I did impersonate James just in a funny way. He did not like that. I was like, oh, my paint will get all dirty.
That's a good one.
Impersonated Toby, is it?
I tried.
Look here, sir. Look where you're going, you big brute.
I can try to do Donald and Douglas, but I think I'm too rusty to do such voice. That can be very confusing since they both look exactly the same.
You mean sound exactly the same?
They sound and look exactly the same. Yes, Gordon. Thank you.
Well, maybe not quite the same. Maybe not exactly. There are some differences in their voices.
Well, I believe I can do a pretty good impression of some people and some engines, but I'll have to think about that just for a second. I really have to think about that, because there are some like here's my impression of my brother Gordon.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
Scott
this
meant
ought
well.
to be good.
Oh, the indignity!
Oh, how enjoyed our crew.
Look at me. I'm not quite sure how this works.
Oh, hello, Sydney.
Hello, Sydney.
Come just me. Hello there.
Oh,
How's it going, everyone?
Hello there, Hello, Sydney. How are you doing?
this is Sydney.
I was doing okay. I was on my way to
Hello, Sydney.
I'm trying to remember right now. I think I was on my way to the Blue Mountain Quarry with the express, carrying important elephants over to
Oh dear.
They came from Far Junction. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where we were going.
Oh.
Oh my!
It reminds me of
Edward, you weren't joking about Sydney.
No.
Yeah,
Forgetful.
Scott.
Yes,
Sydney,
Sydney
please.
can be.
Yeah, sorry.
Sydney can be very forgettable sometimes.
Well, I
But,
do work hard all the same. I mean, I did pull 40 jam trucks to the ice cream factory. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where I went.
Oh, you're so funny, Sydney.
Give him time, Scott.
Oh my!
Oh,
But anyways,
Really polite.
I suppose my apologies for interrupting. By the way, I suppose if anyone's got questions, we should better look at them. I suppose.
That's what
Oh yes, indeed. Let's see. Oh, here's one for you, Paxton. Paxton, here's one for you. It's from Clemens Productions, and they ask, how do you feel about everyone bouncing around those Chuggington characters?
Chuggington.
I thought we always bounced around a little bit. Am I mistaken?
Well, how I feel about it, I think it's new, and I could get used to it. It's not very normal for a diesel engine or a steam engine or any kind of engine in particular to bounce.
It's very
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
But I think
I
it's
don't do it very much.
kind of fun. I do love it. It's a lot of fun.
I thought we all
I don't necessarily like bouncing around either. That usually what that means is my springs are loose. That's not a good thing.
I don't do it very much.
But I'm sure you will.
Oh, here's a question for you, Edward and Gordon.
Oh, yes.
There's a question for you two,
Yes.
Edward and Gordon. It is from Sodor and American Railroad. He asks, what happened to James's brother Eagle from the early years of the NWR?
That's a very good question. God, whatever happened to that old fellow?
Well, they needed something. Well, apparently Eagle was called back to the other railway, and they needed some for some reason.
I beg everyone's pardon, but who's this Eagle that you're all talking about? I don't think I've ever heard of him.
Have you heard of the Red Engine?
Red Engine.
Same red engine that tried to push Henry out of the tunnel many decades ago.
I thought it was Thomas.
I think what they're talking about, Paxton, is the books, the railway series. The first book, which was called 3 Railway Engines, that was where Edward, Gordon, and Henry appeared from the Reverend. They were the first engines that the Reverend wrote about, and there was a red engine in there when Henry was having when Henry decided to stay in the tunnel. But I thought all that time it was James.
Nope. James came sometime afterwards because they needed an engine of Eagle's experience.
Wasn't it Thomas, though? I swear it was Thomas. I never forgot that.
Thomas was at Vicarstown being a station pilot.
But when my driver told me about it, and it even showed some, what do they call it? Moving pictures. It was Thomas. I'm almost certain.
Oh, you're talking about the television show.
I mean, it was a while before it came to Sodor, so I don't know.
So I guess the Eagle didn't want to show up on the television series, so they just asked Thomas to do it, maybe?
I don't think they could locate him.
Oh my, that's terribly sad.
That is very interesting, this Eagle engine that you speak on.
He was a very nice chap until he had to go back to his own railway.
Oh, well, I do wish I got to meet him.
Here's a question for you, Gordon. Gordon, here's a question for you.
Yes?
It's from the YouTube Gaming Engine. And they ask, did you have a sister named Diamond Jubilee?
Diamond Jubilee. Ah, yes, I believe I did.
I remember her. I think.
Oh.
I think.
Yes, we did.
What did she do again?
That is a good question. I mean, we did have a lot of siblings.
Well, I see a question for Sydney. If
really?
you could remember. Great Western Studios Santiago asks, Sydney, do you remember the fire at the Dieselworks? If so, were you scared? You didn't have wheels at the time, so you were still in there, just watching your home get burned.
About that, before the whole fire thing happened, when they were doing that whole invasion takeover, I'm not quite sure what happened. I was just over at the corner when the whole thing happened. They just kind of I don't remember how it happened, but Diesel 10, I think he was like, hey, Sydney, you want to join the invasion? And I was like, but I've got no wheels. And so he went, okay, you can be the guard, I suppose. Okay, so I was just behind the fence the whole time. And then they just put me back after the whole state Dieselworks was renovated. I think that's how it went, I think. Because I don't remember any fire. I remember a bit of smoke and the fire. What were their names? Eugene and Beast, I think that's what their
Bell
name
and
is.
Flynn, Sydney.
Oh, those two engines. Yeah, they were just coming through, and they I don't remember what exactly happened, but it was just like some smoke and a bit of sirens and some yelling, but that was it. And then I was just back in the Dieselworks when they all repaired the whole thing, I suppose. So I don't remember any fire.
By the way, Edward, there's a question for you. From
Oh,
Caitlyn.
yes.
Does James have nightmares from the time Dieselton cornered him at the smelter's yard?
Don't remind me. Every time when we try to go to sleep, James would have night terrors. Gordon, you were there when it happened too.
And he whistles quite loudly when he wakes up from these nightmares.
Oh, no.
Angie.
Oh my.
But he's learned. He's gone past it from time to time. But there'll be some nights where he's extra loud.
Oh, dear.
Even louder than my snoring sometimes.
Oh my God, you
Sounds like this
snoring?
Dieselton is a very nasty character.
I mean, he's not that bad when you get to know him. I mean,
Well,
he's a
we-
decent boss and all.
Well, that's easy for you to say, Paxton. He did tell me to take decorations away from the steam engines. I did not like that one bit.
But he was campaigning for the new Dieselworks, I suppose, so
But
at least
don't,
we've got no place.
but don't you remember what he said to you? He called you Twinkle Toes. Don't you find that insulting?
I mean, it gave me some nice lights, I suppose, so it wasn't that
Golden,
as...
You told me about this Twinkle Toes character. I was not
Yeah.
on the island at the time.
Well, I hear from the other engines that he called the steam engines Twinkle Toes a lot of times.
Yeah.
And,
By an engine named Lady.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I remember hearing about Lady. He muttered in his sleep. It was something like, "No, I'd be better off with that one engine scrapped or whatever." I don't remember what, but yeah, didn't he also rebuild that airport or something? I don't quite remember because I haven't been on Sodor for a while. I've been here. How many? When was 2011? How long ago was that?
2011.
Yes.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was about
that-
7 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't been here as long as you lot, but that's what I heard at least.
why, Cindy, when did you come? I think, what year did you come to Sodor? I'm very curious.
That's when I think I was there, the 2014 thing that Edward said earlier. They just needed help at the Dieselworks a little bit, and then, well, my undercarriage. Well, let's say there's a reason I was hanging there for so long.
Was it
Crank
because
bends weren't all that great.
you didn't have your wheels for 2 straight years?
For the most part, the crank bends weren't exactly easy on them, so by the time I got there, I wasn't exactly in the best condition, so I was just kind of kept there for a while.
Oh, I do have a question. How did you survive when that building caught fire?
I said earlier, I was just put behind the fence.
Oh, behind the fence.
Yeah, just like the front fence. They just like Diesel was. I mentioned it earlier. Diesel. He just had me stand guard, I suppose. Just took me out and then kept me there. He was like, "Don't worry. There might be an emergency, so you might want to keep guard." And again, I just heard smoke and steam, and Eugene and Beast, those two fire doohickeys, and that was about it.
Oh, very
Here's a question for you, Ashima.
Yes?
Would you rather live on Sodor from Super James 526? Would you rather live on Sodor or in your home in India?
Oh, that is a very, very tough question. Well, I mean, I love my home in India. It's very beautiful, and my family lives there too, and I love them dearly. But I wouldn't mind living on Sodor, honestly. I mean, you are all very, very good friends, and it would be nice to be in your company more often.
You can come back and visit us anytime, Ashima.
Especially
Yes.
Doris.
Yes, every single time. You're welcome.
Don't worry, Ashima. I'll make sure Thomas doesn't find out.
Anyway, there's a few more questions here. Here's one for Emily.
Oh,
It says here, Emily, it's from a Tower of Terror fan 21. It asks, Emily, have you thought of getting a new paint job?
well, I'll have to think about that. I mean, I do love my green paint, of course, but
Emily, you
I painted a different color. I'm kind of interested in like maybe a dark blue or a dark purple.
Well, I must say, Emily, you did look very, very nice when you were repainted for the Great Railway Show.
Oh, hey, Emily. Maybe you could have the same paintwork as me. A nice teal.
That's
Well,
kind, Paxton.
A very
I
similar
don't.
green.
Mhm.
I'll tell you that much.
Very similar indeed.
I love
Oh, my.
but
Oh.
Let's say, do we have any more questions?
Here's one that's for all of us. It's from Electro Gamer. He asks, if you had to choose another vehicle to be instead of an engine, what would it be and why? What model?
oh,
Interesting.
what would we be if we're not an engine?
I
Ooh, can I go first?
I can't personally see myself anything other than myself.
Neither can I.
Why?
Neither can I.
If I had to
Ooh,
do
ooh,
that,
I know what I'd want to be.
I would either be
Oh
a
dear.
supercar or an aeroplane. Aeroplanes carry passengers, and cars
can't-
travel pretty fast.
I was gonna say I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to be anything but a supercar.
Oh.
Cindy, I think, had an answer.
Oh yeah, I know what I'd want to be.
What do you want to be, Sydney?
What
A
would you want to be
tugboat.
other than
A tugboat?
Yeah, I've heard of a few
Oh,
friends
dear.
down the pipeline.
tug-
There's one fella in a place called what's it called? Kern or Der. But anyways, there's a fella named Theodore up there. Great lad. Met him back in he did like this world tour thing, and he was a lovely lad to talk to. And there's another fellow I know called what's his name?
I think I know.
Tuppence or something. He had like a star on his stack and like a face on his whistle or
Oh,
something.
I think I know
And he
what you
was like-
mean. Sydney, do you mean 10 cents?
Oh yeah, he was only 10 cents for rides from what I saw back then. But anyways, he was a lovely lad. So I'm just like, I'd love to be a tugboat, just sailing along the waters and bringing in ships and singing little songs like the Theodore one. What was his? I can't remember his song. But it was, but yeah, that's what I would like to be if I was anything but an engine, of course.
Say, Gordon, remember the Star Tugs?
Yes, I remember them.
The Star Tugs. Oh,
Drolin was such a lovely chap, wasn't he?
Yes, really lovely. I just wish he was not. I just wish he
now,
had.
for me, I don't really know what I would like to be. Maybe I could be a car, or maybe I could be a boat, or maybe a plane. Oh, I think I know. I think I'd like to be a generator.
What?
Please don't. I don't want to go. I don't want to go through the whole Smudger incident again.
Smudger?
Oh, Smudger.
Okay. You have time, right, Scott?
Yeah, I have a little more time. Who's this Smudger?
Oh,
Okay,
Edward,
so-
can I tell this story, Edward, please?
Go ahead.
You know
Go
this
ahead.
other character?
Go ahead.
Oh, yes.
Paxton. I
Yes,
told him this
because,
story before.
And well, yes, Sahando and Peter Sam told me this story as well. But Peter, Sam, and Sir Handel used to be called Stuart and Falcon, and they used to work with this. They still do. But Duke and Stuart and Falcon used to work on another railway, and there was this little green engine named Smudger. He was very rough, and he would always rock the rails and just cause confusion. And old Duke, he tried to tell him to be careful, but him, he just wouldn't take notice. And I do remember Duke saying that Smudger would always say, "Listen, Dukey, we don't care about spills or whales, so why do you care about spills like this?" And I think Duke always said, "Well, we do here," and I think Smudger just laughed. And then there's something about a manager coming up to him and saying that he will make him useful at last, and I think you know where that led.
I'm afraid I don't.
Okay,
Well,
so to make, if I may, sit Paxton.
Okay, right ahead, Edward.
To make a long story short, Smudger was turned into a generator for his reckless behavior.
Oh my.
Wait a minute. Smudger. Generator.
Yes.
Stewards, too.
Does Mid-Sodor Railway ring a bell?
Rings a bell to me.
Oh my. Oh my word. I'm just reminded of something.
What's that?
What is it?
A story about Smudger and how he got a second chance.
Oh?
Yes, I I remember something now. This was from one of those passings of when I met Hiro on the mainland. He talked about his home. It was just off the coast of Japan. He calls it what is that place? The Valley Island, I think is what he called it. I think he called it yes, the Tanashima. That is what he called it. And Smudger got his second chance. Before the railway had closed, he was bought by a representative of that place and brought over there and worked on the narrow gauge railway over there. And it was the Lower Valley Railway, I think is what it was called. And there was a whole bunch of other engines, and I can't remember them all, but Hiro told me about somebody who wrote those stories. It's called the Valley Railway series.
Oh, wow.
I think it's called like the VRS for short. Or something.
That's very interesting.
Something along those lines. And I wonder how I'm going to have to talk to Hiro about that, because that sounds like a very interesting little series.
Please do.
Yes.
Hey, everyone, it's getting kind of late, so I don't know if maybe we could continue the stream for maybe a little longer. Like I was thinking 15 more minutes, but then
Okay.
Well, that sounds good.
Sounds
right.
That sounds right.
Rest doesn't.
we could answer some
do-
last minute
Train
questions.
doesn't leave my
I
boss.
do see one question for me.
So
Okay.
Have I ever heard of Misty Island? I believe I have. Thomas mentioned it to me once. Oh, he told me this
Oh
horrifying
no.
story.
Edward and I have been
was-
there.
He was on his way to the mainland by boat, but he couldn't fit on the boat, so he was too impatient to wait.
I think he could have fit
So-
easily on that boat.
I've heard of Misty Island.
So he told me that he was chained to the boat on a raft.
I'm
And
not going to lie, that's a very dumb idea.
it snapped.
Say that again.
And he was sailing out to sea, and when he woke in the morning, he found himself on Misty Island. And
Oh,
Oh, no.
I've heard of this place, Ashima. Basically, it's an island off the coast of Sodor, and it's a very heavily forested island.
Had to return to his branch line.
Hmm?
Edwin had to return to his branch line.
Oh no, my driver said the internet kind of crashed.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
that happens sometimes.
Anyway, as I was saying, Misty Island is an island off of the coast of Sodor. It's very heavily forested, and I was just now reminded of a few more engines that came from the mainland that now reside therein. An unholy trio known as the Logging Locos.
Gordon, remember when we had to rescue Thomas from that place?
Oh, those things? I thought they were toys.
3 of us on there.
I remember going there.
Wait,
Do
you went there, Sydney?
Yeah, I went there once. I was picking up it was a crate of video games, I think, and then I ended up there, and then and then they asked me to pick up some logs, and then this crane, I think it was called Old Asthma something, and then it just picked me up and threw me right in the river.
Oh dear.
It was a complicated job for
What
Rocky.
can I do with you, Sydney?
Because they tried to get Rocky in there, but the bridge, it was like it was made of jelly or something. They tried to get him across, but then Rocky fell in. So the one episode of that television series that they've made, the missing breakdown train, that was actually about rescuing Rocky from Misty Island.
Are you sure about that? I don't think it was. I don't think.
Of course, I remember Rocky Rescue. My driver showed me on the telly the other day.
Rocky Rescue?
Yeah, the one where Rocky crashed. That was actually based on the Misty Island accident.
Henry told me about that.
Oh, yes.
Rescued Henry from a derailment at near Orsted Castle.
I do remember something about that. I also remember that Captain was very happy that he was given some attention in some way. But,
that all happened at Misty Island. The telly producers, I think, my driver said they said, oh, we don't speak of Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand. And so they just made it up at Ulfstead Castle.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Those 3. Oh my.
I'm so glad.
Thomas did mention them to me. He said they were quite a trio.
Yes, they are something around.
Quite.
That's
It's an understatement.
Yes, it definitely, Edward. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, they were very quite the mysterious kind.
Mysterious is also an understatement.
But I do remember there was these two machines called Old Wheezy and Hiro.
I remember Old Wheezy. He threw me into the pond in the first place. And then they tried to get Rocky, and then everything just kind of...
Wait, I have a question for you, Sydney. How do you remember all that?
I mean, Flash Dash and Ferdinand kept teasing me about it a little bit.
Oh, yes.
Don't let them get to you. They're just being silly.
Oh, don't worry, I didn't. I could relate.
Very silly. Paxton, please never do that again.
Never do what?
I won't, Edward. I'll do that to
Gordon,
Gordon a lot of times.
What?
Here's a question for all of us. Here's a question for all of us here. It's from Electro Gamer. To everyone, what are your opinions on Hugo?
Oh, Hugo. Oh, Hugo.
He was a very interesting sort of fellow. but he was
I
a really
don't
he
believe
was
I've
really
met
nice
him.
as well.
Who is this Hugo? Who's Hugo?
He's a Zeppelin, a rail Zeppelin.
A rail Zeppelin?
Yes.
Basically,
That's-
it's a torpedo. Okay, it's really hard to explain. It's like a torpedo on track.
Think of it like an airplane on wheels, like on the ground. Like he can't fly, but he's
He's
on.
like an airship on wheels.
Yes.
Airship? Do you mean like a blimp?
Yes.
Maybe there was someone flying over the other day.
That was a blimp.
What?
Led Zeppelin.
Oh, I think I know what you might be talking about, because I don't think I've ever met this Hugo, but from what it sounds like you're telling me is that I remember seeing like this silver streak fly right by me. It sounded like a plane, and it passed me, and it went all the way to. I heard it went all the way to Sodor.
Maybe Hugo's not an airplane.
I originally thought it was Spencer that was passing me, but then to have Spencer come up beside me shortly thereafter, that kind of put my doubts to rest.
Yes.
But what is Hugo like anyway? What is he like?
Oh, he's quite.
He's
He
very
has
friendly.
like a German accent or something.
Wait, Gordon. That's not what you that's not what you first said when you
I'm sorry?
first saw him.
Look who's talking.
I'm sorry.
Beg your pardon, Gordon.
Well,
Hugo's nice for warm days. He'll just like park his propeller up in front of my face, like not a little, like a few meters away, and then he'll run it off, and then I'll get the best fan you could ever get on rails.
You
Oh
too
my.
worry that he might scrap you. Although,
Oh
to
my.
your credit,
We always keep a fair
Don't
distance.
be so harsh, Gordon.
Oh
He was
my.
only visiting after all.
Hmm.
yes, I know.
Hey
No, I
there,
must have missed him on the
Paxton.
way back.
What are you doing? Oh, hi, Scullery. I was just
Is Scott Louis here?
Oh, hello,
what are you
Scott.
doing here?
Yes,
You need to get back to work right now.
What are you
Oh,
guys doing?
oh,
Hello, James is here.
Hello,
Hi,
Regis.
Oh,
I'm
hello.
sorry, Scullery, but I was just helping with with my friends here. No excuses. You must get back to work right now.
Otherwise,
Oh.
the phone would never get delivered.
Oh, all right. I'll be right there, Scullery. Good.
That's a good engine, Paxton.
oh,
Well, you have a good day,
Oh,
Paxton.
all right, Paxton. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for coming along.
Well,
Thank
I
you for
think
doing
I could stay a little bit longer. I think I could stay until this stream ends, if that's all right.
Galloway?
Okay.
All right.
I have a question here from Magma RBLXYT. He's asking me, can I try to impersonate Duck?
Oh dear. I don't think you really want to try to impersonate me there, Scotty.
Oh, Duck.
Duck? Montague?
Hello, Duck.
Is that you?
Hello, old friend.
Oh my!
Oh, hello, Doc. It's good to see you.
Hello there, Paxton.
Oh my! Well, I'm not sure if I
Hello,
should
Duck.
do this now.
I never heard a duck talk.
Very
I'm afraid.
It's
Very
how'd you
funny.
learn not to quack? It's so amazing.
You have no idea what I go through, Scott.
Oh,
Should I at least try just to appease this question? Because apparently, from what I'm seeing here, is this person's been asking this question a lot.
Go on, Scullery.
I don't see why not.
All right. Let's see. This is from let's see if I can remember something. I'm gonna try. Oh. This is from the books. This is probably more well known. There are two ways of doing things: the Great Western Way and the wrong way. And I'm Great Western, and I.
Don't we know?
Wow.
That
Good
was,
talking duck.
that was the Great Western Way.
Thank you, Duck.
Never knew
Hey,
that
brothers
was
Scott,
could
have you ever tried running from Paddington to Bristol one time?
Paddington to Bristol?
I think it'd be a
believe
pretty
I might
eventful
have.
run for you.
Oh, that reminds me of a question from the earlier city of Truro. The city of Truro question. Now that you mention that, Doug, yes. Yes, I do remember passing by Paddington one time and seeing Truro there. Yes.
True, such a very nice chap he is.
I know. So
I
I keep
remember
hearing.
when I was there, when he hit
Oh,
100
oh.
mile an hour that one time. Wow.
Oh, obviously a question from me. Let's see. Paxton, how often do you know these stories? You were on Sodor back then. Well, you see, I work at the Blue Mountain Quarry with the narrow gauge engines, and they tell me, they tell the story. Wait, who just came up here?
Reneus.
Oh, hi, Reneus. It's so good to see you.
Reneus! Hello there!
Last few minutes. When Scarlet.
What is going on here? Oh, hi, guys. I was just stopping by with Annie and Clarabelle. What's going on?
Oh, hello there, Thomas. Nice seeing you here.
Thomas! Hello there!
Hello, Thomas.
Hello. Oh, Ashima. It's so good to see you.
I
Hello.
think I'd better just back out of this one. I'm just so
Lads, I forgot to mention something before.
Yes?
What was that?
I kind of took James's place in no, here he comes. What do I do?
Oh no.
Oh, come on, Sydney. I just want to relax for one day. Oh no. I'm moving.
What's
Get
going on?
out.
Hey,
Okay.
Gordon,
Okay, I'm over,
what's
James.
going on here?
I have no
I kind of
idea.
stole James's spot, and I'm moving out. I'm just on the turntable. I'll be back in a minute. I just got to move spots. Oh no. You just sit.
Help us out to the Blue Mountain Quarry, Paxton.
Oh my.
We moving.
Oh dear.
Paxton, get here now. I better get going now. Bye, Paxton.
Okay.
Bye,
I
Paxton.
believe, Emily, I think it's time. I really think it's time for us to go now because
There wouldn't be a stream without old Donny now, would there?
Oh, I think it's a good time to bail. James already threatened to rip off my buffalo.
I should say, Emily, should we do this again sometime?
Maybe.
I would love to do this again.
Again?
Yes.
Maybe next time I could be on there.
Yes.
Well,
Maybe next time I could be there too.
Well, it was nice chatting with you guys, but I need to get back on my branch line.
Right.
All right. Goodbye, Thomas.
Where
Okay,
are you?
But goodbye, Ashima. I'll see you in the shed tonight.
Oh,
All
right.
All right. Well, let me say thank you all so much for watching the stream. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It has been indeed.
It's pretty fun.
Oh, that's my guard's whistle.
Oh,
I better be heading back to Wellsworth now.
I think my driver's saying his batteries are starting to go on his what he calls his iPad.
What's an
I've got
iPad?
a
And I should probably attend to my passengers.
Yes, and I
Yes.
need to head back to India.
Duties on
but I
Well-
need to go back home.
Goodbye, everyone.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
everyone.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Adios.
I better take this train of peanut butter out. See ya.
Bye, Sydney.
Very well.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.